Hello there, toy collectors. My name is Kevin, aka Toying Around, and I am very excited to bring you this special review.
If anything, the Kim family, they're archetypes.
Which is sad, but not always a bad thing.
I'm okay, I have one
Let's
juicy on the name.
Let's try them. Let's still try.
Hello there, happy Friday. My name is Kevin, aka Toying Around. Star Wars fans, toy collectors, welcome to the stream. This is episode 3 of the Book of Boba Tea, where me and my co-hosts will be doing a recap of the 3rd episode of the Book of Boba Fett. So, thank you for tuning in. If you're new here, there's a lot of cool toy stuff and unboxings here on the channel, so feel free to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you'll see what's going on every week. And if you're back, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing on your social medias. If you haven't yet, let everyone know that we're live. And we're going to talk about this episode, but also with cool TV shows, you get cool merchandise and toys. And as a collector, we get to look at some of the new stuff that's out there to, get our thoughts on it. Maybe there's something new that you haven't seen yet. So hopefully everyone has a good time. You can also watch this on Twitch, twitch.tv/toyingaround. The voice went really high there. And also thank you to the channel members who are here on YouTube and Twitch, and your support means a lot to me, and it's fun to keep going. So thank you very much. Let's get into it because there's a lot of stuff to go over tonight. Let's bring on our guests this evening. Well, our hosts, and we do have a special guest. If he comes through, hopefully he will come through. First, we have our friend. She streams on Twitch. She's a collector. She plays Star Wars video games very well. But she has really cool theories and a lot of tinfoily theories when we're watching shows, but I love to get her perspective. She's formed the Midnight 30 crew, where they do the same thing as this, but at Midnight 30 on Twitch. So please, welcome back to the channel, my friend, Livin the Vida, Yoko.
That was great.
Did it work?
Thank you.
It worked too well.
You got me with plays Star Wars games really well.
Did the auto tune work?
Oh, it worked. It was
Nice.
great.
Was it beautiful?
It was quite beautiful. Hey,
Okay.
my tee matches my shirt. That was unplanned. So that's
I
a
didn't get
bonus.
bubble tea tonight.
You did it.
What? We'll get into that
Oh my gosh.
afterwards.
Okay.
Let's bring the second person on. You've seen him, and by that I mean I've seen him in Kim's Convenience, but maybe you've seen him too in The Mandalorian Season 2. He is the destroyer of White Claws.
The destroyer.
And if you don't fix your transponder, he will vaporize your antique the next time he patrols the rim. This is our friend Paul Sun-Hyung Lee.
What's up, Butter
What's up,
Nation?
Paul?
How you doing?
Welcome back.
I
No
almost forgot
auto-tune
about
for
that
me?
name. Oh yeah. Redo. Wait, go back.
Please welcome back Paul.
Nah, that's old. I want something new. I want that deep, sort of angry modulator. I thought you were going to use a voice modulator, Kev. That's
This is
his
the voice
actual
modulator.
Right.
This is the voice modulator.
Right.
Finally,
Wasn't ready.
our newest member, who is he's dancing on that line, on the probation line. He's been on for 2 weeks, and he's really let it get to his head. He's got a brand new suit, but he's got no rocket boots. When you ask him, "Hey, Ernie, how did you get toy prices back in the day?" He'll let you know. I read it in a magazine. This is
Wow.
Bernie. Bernie and the Fets. What's up, Bernie?
That was great, Kev. I appreciate that, man. That was cool.
I don't want to overstep.
I've been
my
listening
boundary here.
to Elton John all week. I don't know why. And I'm like, oh, right. Bernie and the Fets. Forgot
Yeah,
about that. So I had to
right.
throw it in.
So you don't have boba tea because you swapped it for like whiskey instead, apparently.
Whiskey.
Well, I
No,
don't know.
today
What's the
is
first flavor that came to mind?
my mom's birthday.
Hmm.
So we had a huge dinner and cake, and I'm stuffed, and I can't.
I was just questioning if you were drunk.
Oh, you can just straight up ask me.
I thought I was.
No. No White Claws, no whiskey for me. Welcome back, everyone. Did anyone get new Star Wars related toys this week? I know it's a nice setup for Paul. You want to go
Yes.
first?
Yeah, no, I did. I got it's on my Instagram channel. I got something. Let me see if well, first of all, I got this little Bandai.
model kit.
Yeah, model
Nice.
kit. Do you need glue for this, or is it just a snap together? I didn't really look inside.
I feel like the Bandai ones, you don't need glue.
Awesome.
The chat is very curious.
Okay.
How's your lights this week?
Well, I fixed them. Got them fixed.
Nice.
What I ended up doing was I went and I took Ernie's advice. I was looking for a jetpack. Here they call them rocket sticks, fire sticks, whatever the hell you want. And then the guys at Rogers, that's the carrier, the kiosk I went to, he thought I was insane. He says, "You're going to use it for what? Just for that?" Because the stick itself, if you want to buy it, it's like $200 and something. And then you have to purchase a plan for it. And the cheapest one was $60. In Canada, internet is expensive. It is the biggest ripoff.
Wow.
Like third world countries have better rates than we do. But anyways, we're over a barrel. So I was like, well, that's stupid. I might as well just buy brand new lights if that's going to happen. But he said, a buddy of mine named Jay, he said, why don't you just buy a router? Just get one of those Wi-Fi routers, it doesn't have to be connected to the internet. It just has to be able to, you just have to be able to connect to it.
Yeah,
So I got
communicate
like
with
a
it.
cheap $20 router off of Amazon, plugged it in and connected my lights. So now I have full control of the lights, which is great.
Wow.
The only thing is I have to switch my Wi-Fi networks to one that doesn't have internet, just to bring the lights up and down. But if that's not a total first world problem, I don't know what is. But I do have control over my lights. So thank you for asking.
That meme where they're like, you do what? You spend more money so your Wi-Fi can change your lights?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, though. I can't physically, if there was a manual control for the lights, absolutely, I would have gone that way. But these lights, there's no way to manually assess them. No, it's either
Isn't that the
on
manual
or
control
off.
right there?
That's it. What's that?
I'm like, isn't that the manual control right there, on or off?
No, it's just on and off. That's it. But I want to be able to set color, temperature, and intensity, and couldn't do any of that. So it was just like, if it's a choice between on or off, it's like, I'm really glad I brought them all the way from Toronto just so I could turn them on and or off.
Well, Paul, you're looking good. You got
Thank
some
you.
new toys.
Thank
You're
you.
going to open them where and when? Let
Oh,
everyone know.
well, it's a good thing you asked. For those of you who don't know, take a drink. I have a YouTube channel as well called Bitter Asian Dude Inc. And my flagship show, as it is called Fun Boxing Sundays. Happens every Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. That would make it 4 p.m. Pacific time, where basically I open up one of my geeky collectibles. I do a half-ass review and we talk. That's about it. So yeah, Fun Boxing Sundays.
But
Join
why not
the
full
Bitter
ass?
Officers Brigade. Because it's too much work. Just half-ass is way more. It's just, honestly, it's my first impressions out of box. So it's kind of like a reaction video. I don't have the discipline yet to sit down and do a fully measured out review where I'm reading from a script. I write my thoughts out. I mean, it's pretty much my gut feeling, my gut response to whatever I unbox. So yeah.
A script?
Some people use scripts, not Kevin. He likes to think he uses scripts, but then he forgets them and goes off. And
Some people
Yeah.
probably should use scripts.
yeah.
Oh, ouch.
I meant myself actually in this situation. But also
Nice
you,
save.
now that I think about
I
it.
save. And in traditional Yoko fashion, what better way to give you your screen time after that zinger, then
well, I was trying to
let
think
people know.
for once. Wait, what am I talking about?
I don't know, new Star Wars stuff you got, where
Oh.
people can follow your social media.
I got this cool pin.
I thought that was a phone case.
That is awesome.
It should be a phone case as well.
Right.
How is that
really
a pin?
cool because it's see, it's like a stained glass effect right there.
Right.
It needs 5 pins on the back.
It's got 4.
4. Sorry, I thought there was one in the middle. It just feels like it would make sense. My shirt
really
would look
cool.
tattered after that.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think I'll wear it, but it's cool for display. It could look cool in the bag, I think.
Who is it? Who is that by, Yoko?
It's by Hyperspace Pins.
Nice.
I don't think they had many left. They have some like on their international eBay, like for international buyers on eBay, that they were going to move over to the regular shop tomorrow if there's any left. So if that's of interest to you, you can check that out. But they're cool guys. They have really cool designs on there with their pins and stuff. So
and you can see that on your cool stuff I got
Cool
this week
stuff
video
I got this
on
week.
what social media.
On my Instagram is Yoko McCann, and then I also stream on Tuesdays and Wednesdays on Twitch. Livin La Vida Yoko in midnight 30.
Sweet.
In midnight 30.
And where's that shirt from?
This is a Heroes and Villains shirt. Paid full price
Very
for
nice.
it, then they put it on sale today, so go check it out.
The jacket.
I'm not
too?
laughing at that. I'm laughing at Paul's reaction.
You know what?
It
No,
was so
it's your
extra.
delivery, Yoko. I love your delivery.
Yeah.
I paid full price and it went on sale today.
Yeah.
Not an ounce of bitterness. I love it.
Nope.
I love it.
No salt.
The bitter man himself.
Yeah.
Is the
Finally.
jacket Heroes and Villains too?
It is. This one?
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a Bad Batch one. I've been trying to. I think I've been telling you guys, or maybe it's only in my head, that we should get for Bad Batch season 2. That's on sale now too.
Ooh,
Team uniform. What do you think?
there we go.
That wasn't a
Sounds
no.
good.
I like
That
that
wasn't a no.
idea.
Shout outs to Miss B8 for the follow on Twitch. And everyone over there, Gary and Rach and probably Yoko?
What?
Maybe.
Oh, on Twitch. Yep.
And this guy who almost got fired last night. How's it going?
Yeah, totally. Thanks for allowing me to be here today. Thanks.
Get
Almost
any
got
new
fired
stuff?
on my own show and a special guest over here. No, nothing Star Wars related, man. It's pretty dry out there figure wise. I still don't have Fennec. I still don't have Boba. And I'm not that hardcore into hot toys. I'm really thinking about those ones though, because Polly's really enabling me to jump on that horse over there, man.
Dude.
Especially when I watched his on Sunday. It was driving me insane because like I wanted to correct so many people and I couldn't because it's different how it comes out when you're typing and then it gets lost. But you were going good with all your stuff from the last Boba you got.
Right.
Because that Boba was that one, but it was also a pre-production Boba. So
Okay.
that's what that stuff was. The J guys,
Yeah.
even the jetpack. The jetpack's not Jedi.
Okay.
Jedi went off of that one,
I see.
but it was a pre one. It's basically, I guess you can call it the parade one.
Okay.
That's Parade Fett because
Yeah, okay.
you had prototype, then he showed up in that parade, and that was basically his look.
Right. Okay. Okay.
So-
Well, that makes sense now, and I'm glad you were.
Right.
It's so funny because when you're unboxing it, and here comes the half-assed nature of my channel. When you're unboxing it, there are times it's just like I'm looking at it going, "Oh, I have no idea what the color scheme is for this jetpack," and so I throw it out to everybody who's got, and it's great because the community is great. They're all like,
Yes.
but there's so many comments and they go by so quickly.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to sort of keep stock of what's going on, and there's some repeats and stuff. And you're a little bit later joining on, I think, and so
Mhm.
you kind of got lost in the shuffle. And your username is different than the one I'm used to, right?
I changed it back to the Fallen Fett because
Okay.
a lot of the listeners from They're Not Dolls, Toy Migos, really wanted the wife and I to do a Disney page
I
because
see.
we literally live at Disneyland. So our Disney thing is how we do Disney. And then that just, it's a lot. Like you guys know for everything, it's really a lot. And I can't get into like the video uploads and everything. So I just kind of stick on the Instagram side of it. But yeah, so my handle is how we do Disney, but I changed it back because Kevin kept trying to tell everybody for me, that's Ernie, that's Ernie, that's Ernie.
Right.
And then on the other shows too, they do that. So I just switched it back to the Fallen Fett so that it's a lot easier.
There you go. There you go.
You're muted, Kev.
YouTuber. Fallen Fett, How We Do Disney on Instagram. Toy Migos, right?
Yes.
Go check him out everywhere.
Yes.
Sound good? Shout outs
And
to
the
everyone
Starlight
who's in the chat.
Digest.
Starlight Digest.
Yeah. That's the one we do Wednesday night. So like Yoko, we don't do midnight though. We'll do Wednesday night. And that's a group of guys who we came up with line talk because we all met in line at the movie theaters back in the day when that's what you did. You lined up hours on hours before, and there was always that group of guys that I always saw that no matter what, we were showing up at the same time or whatever. So when episode 7 came out, I'm trying to tell my friends who are hopping on now, like, okay, we got to get there at 3 a.m. Like, you guys got to understand this. If not, I'm not saving your place. Like, this is just the way it goes because there's going to be other people there. And so I was at work, tried to go throw my chair there, and I meet them, and I already get the phone call. Dude, there's already people here, and they said they have 100 people in front of us. I'm like, yeah, that's them. I tried to tell you because they bought baseball families. He was a baseball coach. And so they brought all the baseball team and everything. Wow. And then we hooked up, got together from all the line meetings, and that's how we formed the Starlight Digest and come up with all the theories and line talk and everything like that. So that's what we do over there. But
awesome.
That's where we came up with that. Yeah. So then this way we didn't have to get in a fight in line all the time. And now you just reserve your ticket seat. So now it's way different.
I love it. Old school. Or you can get a Discord and check it out and organize it there.
Right.
So that's some cool toys. Nothing really major Boba Fett related. There was one thing that was announced this week. Let's get to that first, so we can kind of enjoy all the toy talk, or sorry, the show talk afterwards.
That's beautiful.
This is some, I guess, banner art for a Nerf blaster. Boba Fett. What's the model of his? Pew pew pew.
His pew pew EE3, yeah. I believe.
Yes.
And this thing, it's got
way better than the Mandalorian one.
You think so?
Yeah, the Mandalorian colors were like all white and orange, and
because they didn't want kids to get shot because it'll be more popular and they'll be running around with it. Whereas this one, maybe not as popular because
way more popular. This is going to be everywhere.
Here we go.
Just like the jetpacks.
That's gonna happen. That's gonna happen on a HasLab. Watch. I'm gonna have it on wherever I go all the time too, sitting awkwardly. This is very cool though. I mean, it's almost
I like the cartridges that you load in because each one has 4 darts, which is pretty cool.
So the darts are golden color.
Yes,
that's cool.
Okay. Yeah, gold pew pews right there.
There you go.
Yeah, look at that to load up and in. Only thing is though, man, this is $120.
Yeah.
Is this an Amazon exclusive?
No, sir.
It's a
Hasbro. Okay.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it'll be like at Toys R Us in Canada.
I believe so. Yes, it will be for you guys. Yes. Yeah. Right now it is on Amazon, Hasbro Pulse,
GameStop.
Yes, everywhere. Entertainment Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody has it. Same price.
Yeah, look how cool that is when it loads in on the side there.
Right. I mean, if I had this, I would definitely take
Boba Fett is cool.
Okay, thanks.
So quick question though: is it spring loaded or is it battery operated? Because the coolness, or like, do you have to cock it like some of the other Nerf guns where you have to physically, like, it's got the charging handle?
The Mando you had to cock. I would think you would have to cock this. I don't know where though. But that's a great question. I don't know the answer to that, but I do know for sure the Mando one, you have to cock it.
Yeah. With his customized Mandalorian armor, deadly weaponry, and silent demeanor, Boba Fett. Yeah. Okay, that's garbage. It includes 3 drums, each with 4 dart capacity, so you can switch them out to reload, and 12 Nerf Elite darts, 30-inch, 76 centimeter blaster, has an electronic scope with an illuminated lens, and makes series accurate blaster sounds. It comes fully assembled. Perfect. I love fully assembled. Premium packaging. Perfect for display. To fire a dart, load a drum, prime, and pull the trigger.
Yeah, prime means you gotta cock it.
Yeah.
You gotta cock it.
I wonder where though.
I'm not going to say anything.
Okay. All right.
I'm not.
All right,
not
that's
gonna
fine.
Say it. It's already spreading into the chat feature.
Is it?
Yeah, the drinking game.
Yeah.
Let's have a drink every time somebody says cock.
Yeah.
No,
for
this
a-
is
a
cool
knife
though. Would any of you pick it up for $120?
No,
No.
I passed on the Mandalorian Ambient rifle just because it was like $189,
Yes.
and it's like, you know what? Are you kidding me? Like
Yes.
the alien Nerf
do
blasters
that.
are motorized with a counter on it, and they're only $99.
Yeah.
So that's there's a big gouge here. Like there's a Star Wars gouge happening. Like I don't know if they want to make up for the
Star
fact
Wars
that they
tax?
lost. Yeah, like maybe they're making up for the fact that they lost money on that HasLab Rancor. So it's like, well, we got to get them somehow. Let's get the EE3 blaster and jack up the price. And it's not even, in my opinion, it's not even close. It looks too bulky to be like the EE3. Like it just looks too out of proportion for it. So for that price, like you could get like a metal replica.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Gorgeous one from Blaster Factory. You could get this, with a wooden stock and everything like that. Like you can build your own.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Yeah, well, that one wouldn't shoot. That one would be for display only. But I mean, I have at home one of the other. It's an EE3. Painted. It's a nicer. It's same colors, not as deep a green, and all it does is make the noises. It's like the old. The Stormtrooper one, the 11. So it lights up, makes noise, and that looks better proportion than what we're seeing right now.
Oh, I actually have it right there. I
Yeah.
should write it down. Yeah.
It's like, would you take this to a Nerf fight? So you have like a Boba Fett themed one, but if have
I
to cock
would.
it each time. Like,
Yeah, but you have
Some
to
of
cock
these-
each time, and then you'd fall into a big pit by accident.
yeah,
do
in that
people,
time,
like,
a
make
blind guy's
plans?
gonna hit me.
To get together and have Nerf fights? Like, is that a thing? This is the longest conversation I've ever had about Nerf guns. First, of
Are
all.
you serious? Oh my god. Okay, so not speaking. I have a crap ton of kids, and we used to keep. I'm serious. I have
He
4
does.
kids, and then I'm Brady Bunch, 3 in my new marriage, but the old days, we used to keep Nerf guns around the house. You don't ever know when a Nerf gun would fight. Would
Oh,
pop
absolutely.
Up. It's fun to like. You've never done that. Like that's awesome.
It's Nerf or nothing,
really-
Yoko. Nothing.
Yeah, it's really good way to get out some aggression when you can hit your kid right in the eye. And I'm sorry, that was an accident.
I had a message from a lady down the street. She's like, "Oh, the adults are doing a thing around the corner where we're going to have a big Nerf fight. It's going to be over there, so the people with baby monitors, they can still check and you can have drinks." And then I'm like, "Oh, yes. Hasbro just sent me this crazy new blaster. You guys are dead." Yeah, but they made it on a
awesome.
Friday and we had to stream, so I missed it. But next time.
Yeah. I mean, the one saving grace is like it does make the pew pew sounds, right? So
Yeah,
that's
Right,
gotta
right.
be cool.
And of course, packaging, that looks good. You can't deny this looks great.
yeah.
Do
want
I
that
need to
tattooed
buy
on my
it
back.
because of the packaging? No.
need
I
that
could just look
tattooed
at
on
this
my back.
picture for free.
I'll send it to you, Paul. But it's
Yeah,
not free.
I could look at it for free. I mean, it's just there you go.
See, and I would be showing up to the Nerf fight with my box and everything, having to open it up on a table so that everybody saw.
Yeah, but then
What
you
you-
get filled with so many Nerf darts by the time you loaded it and cocked it, you'd be done.
And I know
Yeah.
that would directly be you 3 automatically in the back.
Right?
All right, like I didn't hear anybody say go yet. I'm still trying to cock mine over here. Yeah.
Rick. Ernie, is this, or Ernie, Paul, or Yoko, is this Orabesh? This doesn't look
No.
like regular.
That's Mando script.
Okay, to me, if it were English, it looks like it says "they fall," like he falls in a pit.
Right? Right?
The
Does it
fall.
look
you
like it
know
says
what it-
"they fall"?
No, it
It's
says
not,
Boba
dude.
Fett.
It
That
says
says
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
Now we
It
know
looks
what
like
that
they,
means.
they fall.
They
Oh,
fall.
So
in
That's
Mandalorian.
perfect.
This is the writing
is
when
the
he
translation.
turned on the thing in Mando 2 and he said that's me. That's
Oh,
Boba Fett. And it was written shouldn't be written like that. It goes down. So that was cool.
it,
But you
it
also
goes
saw-
So
down.
they fall down.
Yeah. No. Already we're there. All right.
Was that?
That's cool.
Are we at like 3? I mean, that should be our drinking game. Anytime
That was
there's a
like
pit
10
reference.
already.
By the
That was
way,
like
Ernie,
10.
hearing that you are on a podcast called the Sarlacc Digest,
Yes.
it brings me
I know.
so much joy, dude, that it's so
was-
on brand. I love it.
No, yeah. I was like, okay, here we go. Right.
All right. Oh, Gonzo's out of here. All right, Fallen Fett. Here we go. Episode 3. Should we get into it? You know, we said
Yes.
this
Yes.
episode. See, Yoko was a little bit late because she couldn't find the link to join. She couldn't find the link to join because we were spamming the group chat about this episode. Like, it popped off in there, and there's probably pages that she had to scroll back to find it because we rarely talk about an episode before here.
Yeah.
But I said one thing, and then it was just like, this and that. So here we're gonna put those screams into actual words.
So Kevin's gonna read our chat transcript.
Didn't have to make any notes. I just copy.
Reading a script.
All right, real quick before we start, Darth Gutierrez says, Ernie, what made you like Boba Fett?
From the beginning, it was all, of course, it was his hype, but it was his look, just a couple. He was, if everybody loved Vader, well, I like Boba Fett. But then the old books and getting into it was he didn't have a good or a bad side. He chose jobs on what to do. And then he kind of made some choices in there too, which is the whole making him badass during the old EU and everything like that. It was mostly the look. I mean, other kids that I knew loved Vader for the look, and then that was it. So wrap it up. All right, there you go. It was his look. He was a sexy mofo.
You're gonna play the Grammy music or the speech music where you gotta wrap up your acceptance.
I thought you were gonna say the books made you like him more, and I was about to respect you for that, and then you said it was just the looks.
So you don't respect him currently?
I was trying to get
question.
into it. Yeah. No, she doesn't. Right.
No.
I was getting into that, but Kevin's like, I just need one word answers here. Let's go.
The books
We're on-
of Boba Fett. That's
We're
why.
on my time. There used to be a lot back in the day.
Yeah.
All right, we talked about toys. We dissed Boba Fett. Well, we didn't diss him. They're facts.
You did.
A few times,
Mm,
and
I know
we can
that
get
every
into
time
it.
you guys say something, my Instagram pops up with false information. So
like the COVID warning.
yes, right. Yeah. Keep getting that. And I'm like, I know it's okay. They're all right.
Oh my gosh. It's been a fun week. It's been a very fun week. And for people watching, spoiler alert, obviously, if you don't mind, thank you for sticking around. If you're watching this on the replay, you are a true legend. Here we go. We start back on, we never left. We're on Tatooine. We have this weird creature. Do you remember what these are? Anyone?
Yeah, it's a monk.
Yes. Be
It's a
a
monk?
more monk.
Okay, next.
What?
Be a more
Okay.
monk. That's it.
So they're basically a sect of monks that felt they would reach a higher plane of enlightenment by removing their brains from their bodies, and that robot is basically carrying their disembodied brain around.
What?
That's what's in the orange bubble. That's a brain.
He's
in
the
liquid.
brain of a monk. Yeah.
I've never heard this in my life.
And
Well, that's a
they're-
direct callback to Return of the Jedi
Correct.
because you see one crawling around in the
Yes.
background when
I see one of
C-3PO and
these.
R2-D2.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember seeing them.
This was a mail away toy. It was awesome. Back in the day when you had to turn in your
take your word
UPCs
for
and
it.
that.
Don't make me sing. He read it in a
Sing.
magazine again.
Sing.
No,
Don voice.
That's true, man. And then not only that, but continuing on with Paul's is that's who used to inhabit the palace. That was their sanctuary, and Jabba took it over, locked him in the basement.
So Mike says, "Did we find the Butter Bandit yet?" No, you never will. I'll get you, Butter Baron. No, you won't.
No, you won't.
Yes,
I
I
will.
will. Never.
Won't. No, won't.
Is it won't?
Yeah. He just says won't.
Nice. And I to do it again. We start off the episode. Now he decides to take his course, Boba Fett, on, hey, maybe I should learn about this area that I'm taking over. And the droid is showing him a map of Mos Espa, how it's divided up into 3 factions. The Trandoshans, Yoko's peeps, you saw them in the earlier episode. the Aqualish, and the biker gang. Mouse is going crazy. Notes. Okay, notes. And they also call it they refer to Jabba's sail barge as the sail barge disaster.
Yeah.
Do you get, based on that phrasing, do you think they know that like Luke and a blind guy beat Boba Fett, the guy the robot's talking to, and caused the
I'm still
the
not
sail
convinced
barge to go
anybody
down?
knows what happened to Boba Fett. Like, I don't know how anybody would know what happened to him.
Right. So that's always able to pop up.
He just
You don't.
disappeared.
Not only that, but Slave Leia killed Jabba, so they're not
Mhm.
even mentioning that. Like anybody who was there. No, the rebels didn't come in and totally blow us up.
So
And
is
Max
Boba Fett?
Rebo survived somehow.
So nobody knows. Is Boba Fett walking away from the Sarlacc pit like when I go to take out the garbage and I slip and I fall in the ice and I'm like checking if any of the neighbors saw me? Because it doesn't seem like anybody really understands.
I think it is. People know, and they're just
No,
not
but how?
referring to it
How
because
would they know?
there were survivors. There were survivors of the battle. There's got to be a
Yes,
couple
Max
of the guards who just like, hey man, French army time. Drop my rifle and
I'm
run.
out. Right.
And yeah, and they so they bolt, and that's what happens. It's like stories get out, and so it's like, what happened to Boba Fett? Well, it's interesting you should ask because he got knocked behind by a blind dude, flew to the side of the barge, and then went head first into the Sarlacc pit. But I think that's the thing. It's like it's like propaganda in that sense, right? It's like we don't talk about how, because that would be, there's still Jabba's people around or this or that. Like the reputation still precedes him, and so they don't want to refer to it as the utter defeat of Jabba the Hutt or the assassination of Jabba the Hutt. They just call it like the disaster. Like history is replete with revisionist sort of spins on it, right? And I think people know, like he came to a bad end. Boba Fett, got dumped into the Sarlacc pit, and but there were survivors. Max Rebo, he's a prime example of it. You didn't see him leave, but he got off somehow. So I'm thinking
With his keyboard.
Yeah, there's a number of characters, ancillary characters who have escaped, who could spread the story, and then immediately they're like, no. It was a disaster. That's all we're gonna say, right? It's like the end of LA Confidential. He died a hero.
It's the one-eyed Willie theory.
Yeah.
Somehow the map and the story got out. Had to.
By the way, Paul, I have to say, from your stream, the world's fallingest bounty hunter, was that what you referred to him as? The world's fallingest, or something like that.
I did, yes.
And then you got to a point where you used camera 2.
I was just gonna say that
on Hot Toys Boba Fett, and then now you've got this talk show host and co-host thing going back and forth.
Yeah.
Dude, that was so funny. It's so genius. I told you, if you don't use that, I'm gonna steal it.
Right.
It's so funny.
That was straight up Robot Chicken style. That was
Thank
awesome.
you. I've been alone in this apartment for quite a while.
So it sounds like those conversations with Fett haven't stopped yet. Like you guys are getting along great.
I got to
Anything
come
you want
up
me to
with
tell
better.
Ernie?
I have to come up with better stuff though, because I found out like I was just repeating myself a little bit too much. So maybe on Sunday I'll have some fresh material. But I have.
Paul's like, it's not a bit.
It's great.
That's how I've been living.
I've actually thought of ways I can expand it and have 2 versions of Fett, because really, the OG Fett is the one. He's the whipping boy. That's the one that we just dump all over, and then we've got Mandalorian Fett, who might be his like Smeagol to his Gollum type thing. So we'll see what happens between the 2 of them.
Yeah, I just wanted to point that out before I forget, because I had so much fun watching that, man. You were doing the voice. It was great.
Thank you.
And in comes one of his vassals. We have, for people who don't know, maybe this is too far of a callback. This is Bill from King of the Hill. He's in Office Space. A whole bunch of awesome stuff. Dodgeball.
He was in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Fantastic. His voices are great. But here he plays a watermonger. He buys water from moisture farmers and resells it to other people. He's a water like scalper. in our world of toys, that's kind of what he does. He buys them off the shelf and sells them to other people at an inflated price. But he's here because he's being robbed. He is insulted. He is like, quite frankly, Boba Fett, you don't get no respect. And he's there because he's like, hey, this would never have happened under what's his face? Bib Fortuna. So the street gang is out here and they've stolen my water and you got to do something about it. Here's your chance to earn some respect. Because I don't know, do you feel like they kept rubbing that part in? That like nobody respects you.
That whole scene was him. He's kind of like another version of the mayor's assistant. Because he's basically saying fuck you without saying fuck you. You know what I mean? Like it's all subtext. He's saying I'm not saying I don't respect you. Everybody else doesn't respect you. I'm just telling you what everybody else is thinking. They think you're spineless. I'm insulted on your behalf. It's like that whole like he's so full of shit, his eyes are brown type thing. And it's all subtext to it. So yeah, I mean that's the running theme is nobody respects the Fett. Because he's not dropping the hammer like his predecessors used to do, right? And so they're like, I think this is the criminal underworld sort of sees that as a weakness. If you treat people with respect and kindness, no, he's too weak. And so he's like old school, the what's the name for the mafia? Not the Nostradamus. Old school gangsters. Everybody has an agreement. It's done in a civilized way, right? And so everything is gotten down to no. If they insult you, kill his entire family, right? Like that's what it's descended into. And he's trying to pull it back to this more, respectable way of running things. But nobody respects him for that.
Dang,
Costa Nostra, thank you. 1-6 shooter, thank you.
I thought I had it queued up, but Boba Fett, I don't get no respect.
Yes,
Darth
he does.
Gutierrez says I'm still on episode 1. Thank you for being here. We're still watching while you're on episode 1 still. So finally, Boba Fett. Well, not finally, because I guess he's kind of already been in the city, but he's like, all right, it's time to get to the action, earn me some respect, and they have to go into Mos Espa to find out what's going on with this biker gang. And here's where it all begins for this episode. Get ready for a lot of questioning, maybe a lot of ranting. We come across these thieves, water thieves, which they very well may be. He says it's, one of the criminals says it's robbery what he's doing us. He's charging us a month's worth of wages for a week's worth of water. But he's got like fancy pants and a belt. And like, look at his clothes. They're so fancy.
He is.
Right? This guy looks like a bully in a private school or something. That like a stereotypical TV show kind of look. I'm like, and then she's saying there's no jobs available, which there could be, but they've been introduced as a street gang who like to enhance their bodies with mechanical enhancements. And even at the end of the episode, this guy's like, I spent a lot of money on this eye. Then are you stealing water? Are you choosing not to work to steal water so you can sell it and buy eyeballs and robot foots and hands?
Robot foots.
And that's not even the craziest part. These hover bikes that they have. I mean, Yoko, do you want to go first?
Do I want to go first?
Yeah, you want to take the lead?
Sure.
So
I didn't
airing
care
of
for them.
grievances. Airing
of the grievances. Look. I saw some stuff on Twitter that was alarming in like two directions, right? Like, no, I did not care for Vespa gang here. I saw what alarmed me though was like, because it didn't, I don't know where to start. It doesn't, it's not so much that they're not Star Wars. It just didn't fit Tatooine. It didn't fit what was happening, right? It didn't seem to fit with the story. But I saw people, there were a lot of people that hated this, right? But then they're on the other side. There were the people, I saw the gatekeeping going in the other direction where it's like, if you don't think this is Star Wars, you don't know Star Wars. And then there's the people that, it was like, I was a little alarmed to see it go in the other direction too, not just
I didn't
like
see any of that personally.
that was popping up on my Twitter anyway.
Well,
but,
Yoko, that's the same thing that you shared with us.
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
that,
And it wasn't just that one person. I saw it popping
Right.
up a lot where it's just,
Yeah.
the people that are the extreme defense, I guess, where it's like, like did it stop me from enjoying the episode or being optimistic about what's to come? No, not at all. Just, those shiny, bright bikes just really stood out. Right?
Yeah.
Ernie, how about you?
Yeah, you said biker gang. It's not, dude. It's a Vespa gang. I feel the same way. It really took me out, and in that, not Star Wars, but with the meaning behind that. This isn't on Tatooine. This is like Coruscant or somewhere. Brighter colors, not this dark, or like you went into the way they're dressed. It just wasn't our Star Wars look. Is what was wrong with it for this setting and what was going on. I get if they were trying to be young, the young crew or whatever, but it wasn't that feeling. And then what got me in a comment I made of saying they don't do that with the robot stuff. Well, we do in Star Wars, but because you lost a hand. Fennec, because it saved her life. You do it for other reasons. These were told that they modified on purpose. So like nobody's done that. The other ones are for reasoning behind it. So that was weird as well. It was very hard to fit because it seemed like I'm the old guy and here's the new cool kids. And that's not the part of Star Wars that I know. And those Vespas were so weird. Seeing them was because I just seen it as a marketing thing. Like, I feel the next time I'm going to go down to Disneyland Batu, you're going to be able to ride these around like the ones in the mall and like get on your Vespa bike and you can roll through Batu, Galaxy's Edge. Here you go. $20 an hour. That was really weird.
I might do that though if I saw that.
I'll race you.
Damn it.
I'll do it with you too. But that's what on my take of it. It was a little bit too offset for me. It was weird,
Desert.
Look at that. That's
What
clean
is-
and flashy.
It's so shiny.
No.
They're so
Yeah, they're
shiny.
not even
Dirt or
dirt.
any like erosion or any, I don't.
Dude, I live in the
scratch
desert.
marks.
And my black Honda Accord, you had to dust it all the time. Like, there's not a speck of dust on here. How is that possible?
My scoots, as the Grandmaster would say. Nice. Paul,
I feel like
you
Paul is
told us in the
gearing up
chat.
here.
Well, I mean, how do I start? I didn't like them. I didn't think they worked. That being said, it's one of those things like what everybody says. They stick out for all the wrong reasons for me. I think aesthetics wise, it's very jarring. But maybe that was the intent behind it. The bright colors, the fact that they're super shiny, the fact that the entire Paw Patrol there, they've got the spiffy duds on and stuff like that. It was very reminiscent of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with the separate colors, and then the Power Rangers, of course. I bring up Paw Patrol. It's that whole thing. But I mean, and I hear, I saw that thing that you shared with us, Yoko, about somebody saying, well, if you don't think it's the shiny stuff in Star Wars, you don't know Star Wars. He's like, yeah, that was on Coruscant, where the standard of living was much higher and things were new and this and that. Tatooine, it's kind of a dust bowl. That's all it is. Like Luke Skywalker himself said, if there's a bright center to the universe, Tatooine, you're on the planet that's farthest from.
Yep.
That's how I see it. But over the course of the last couple of days, just sort of thinking about it, this is something that is definitely, if you want to go against the grain of what's on Tatooine, you do what these kids are doing. You have shiny bikes. They probably spend all day cleaning their bikes, right? The clothes, they're so out of touch. It's like, if you want to be like, if you look at the classic sort of biker gangs that are out there, right? They wear scary looking clothes because it's like all leather and like the spikes and this and that. And you kind of go, oh, it's intimidating. Well, on a dust planet where everything is like really kind of gross and run down, what's more intimidating than somebody who's dressed in fancy fucking clothes riding around on a shiny bike in the middle of the desert? Like, I kind of get that in that sense. Whether it works or not, I think it's a personal thing. But part of me sort of expected them to break out into a chorus of good thing as they were bombing around town, right? It's like that Fine Young Cannibals sort of music video where they're on the scooters. Somebody mentioned it. It's like the whole mod gang thing in the 60s,
Yes.
in the UK. And so it's kind of reminiscent of that. I don't know if that worked for me personally. There's a whole bunch of baggage associated with it. I see what they're trying to do with it. It is definitely a different look, and I've always been the first one to say, stop poo-pooing new things. We want new things in Star Wars. I think this is an example of them attempting another new thing. And my initial visceral reaction was no. But the more I think about it, the more I'm willing to sort of see where they're going with this, because I think they've earned Filoni and Favreau and everybody on board, all the production designers, they've earned that leeway, that rope to sort of go, okay, you've done an incredible job of universe building and of doing this. I'm going to give you a chance. I'm not gonna say, like, I've been reading online, people saying, oh, it makes me think Mandalorian was just a fluke and they don't know what they're doing and they just got lucky. It's like, no. These are decisions that are made and there's careful thought put into it. And just because they're not what we would do doesn't mean they're throwing everything away. Like that's the whole thing about, like, I'm reading a lot of hate about this series. And is it what I expected? No. But am I enjoying it? I am. There are parts that don't work for me, but that's fine. It's not catered just for me. And I want to see the whole series play out again from beginning to end and then reserve judgment. Because to be honest, even the beginning of WandaVision, I was like, okay, this is really weird and neat, super stylized. I don't know if I'm liking this, but by the end, I was like, okay, it all makes sense now and I freaking love it. Right. So that's why I think a lot of people, we're not used to having to watch things a week at a time. We're used to being able to binge it and watch the whole thing, you get answers right away. And I think this is just an example. We'll get into the other stuff later on. For me, that didn't work, and that's more of a pacing thing. But right off the bat, I wasn't thrilled with this look. I don't know if it's growing on me, but I think I understand it. And I'm trying to keep it more of an open mind to it as the series progresses. But I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest, right now. But we'll see what happens.
I like in Star Wars, they've traditionally taken like our world items, could be anything, and modified it to a point where it looks Star Wars and it doesn't look like what the original thing was, but it's there, like that item is there. But this seems like it doesn't really mold it into a Star Wars kind of aesthetic for me.
I think that's fair. I think that's totally fair too, but I don't think these bikes are made for desert travel. These are like Vespas. It's exactly what everybody's saying. These are like things that are meant for short hops through the cities or this or that. You wouldn't want to go from Mos Eisley to Mos Vespa through it any more than you would want to ride a Vespa from like Las Vegas to Los Angeles, right? You could do it, but it would be brutal.
Quick plug. I watched this episode and then I ran down here to the toy room because I'm like, hey, I have a bike that kind of looks like one of these. And I threw this picture together, and it's stupid stuff like this that gets me to take a toy photo. But this is Most Vespa Motorcycle Club on my Instagram.
It's cute.
Thank you for everyone who showed some love on that photo.
It's weird. You make fun of him, but you had a Boba Fett figure ready to go, huh, Kev?
Yeah, I don't even have the right one.
Right there.
Because
he was right there.
Want any more than that one.
Okay.
All right, so they still have to resolve the water issue.
What's I saw someone who was really upset about her outfit having zippers. Like someone was like, "There are no zippers in Star Wars."
What? Really?
That was a tweet I also read.
Wow.
I didn't have strong feelings about zippers, but
right.
Griffin did. There are no zippers in Star Wars.
I'm telling you, Star Wars fans are hardcore, man. Wow, that's a first for me. I've never heard that one either. It was an okay episode, but those zippers, forget it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
That's wild.
They're
That's-
canon now.
Zippers are good.
Zippers are
Yeah.
canon. Hey, no, but I've heard that too. On set, even saying fasteners like that. There are no zippers or buttons that's why a lot of things, if you look at it very closely, actually, and this is a deep cut for wardrobe, you won't see a lot of the fasteners. There's a reason why there are a lot of little hooks that are hidden within the fabric and this and that. You don't see. I would challenge you, and so that is actually kind of a big deal to have a zipper being shown, to be honest. So I think, and that's something I didn't even notice. But I mean, I've heard on set like there are no zippers in Star Wars, just like
So the whole universe is button flies?
I don't
God.
know. Who knows if it's even that? Because, like you said, no
Elastic
fasteners.
waistband?
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. Velcro? Some type of space Velcro?
It's
Button flies and no space underwear, apparently.
Right.
that's right, because there's no gravity in space.
Also,
That's
this guy's
crazy.
jacket, the prep school guy that I mentioned, his jacket's actually pretty nice. I would wear one of those. It's almost like a long gray pea coat that he gets into a very slow chase speed thing. What did we call it? It was Mario Kart.
Mario Kart.
But it
50
was-
cc.
We'll get it. We'll get to when we get to the chase. So here's a closer look at some of the body modifications. This guy has some, I don't know, Iron Man thing going on.
A computer fan
this
on
dude-
his chest?
I hope
Computer.
That's a computer fan on his chest.
maybe when we get more of their backstory, maybe it'll make more sense, and then maybe we'll feel better about it. But those bikes were still too shiny. They should be a little dirty.
The whole universe is Yeezy inspired. That's great. This guy has a webcam for an eyeball.
It looks like a webcam.
It looks like my webcam.
Yeah, he's
It's great
ready
for
to go
streaming.
live at any time.
Oh, it's those Ray-Bans with the Facebook
Yeah.
thing. This dude looks like what's his face from Mortal Kombat?
Kano.
Kano.
It looks
Nice.
painful. Not into it. I wouldn't
One
do that
laser eye.
personally.
So back to the water. The water part is overshadowed by these the Vespa gang, but ultimately Boba Fett sides with these kids. First of all, I think he makes a great move, and he hires them. He says, "You don't have work? Well, now you work for me." Makes sense, right? They only have 4 of them, and they've had their asses handed to them a few times. Whether or not this addition to the team works, we'll see later on. And he turns around and he says to the watermonger, he's like, "You charge too much. Lower your prices. Here's 500 credits when you wanted 13. You don't like it, you can leave and go to Mos Eisley." And it looked like he was pissed afterwards, Stephen Root.
No, of course he was pissed. He lost. I mean, look at his profit margin. It was completely slashed, right? It wasn't even half.
Right.
500 out of 1,300. That's not even half of what he wanted or he feels he was owed, right? So, I mean, there are all these veiled threats the entire time too, right? It's like, well, we'll see how you handle this will directly affect how people treat you, type thing. And then the addition of the gang there too. It's like it hits on a big point. It's like, yeah, it's just been the 4 of them from the beginning. Like he has no muscle other than just those 4, right? Like you need kind of an army of goons. When at the end of the episode, when all those pikes show up, you're kind of like, yeah, you need that muscle. And if he's only got those 4 and they walk everywhere, it's kind of hard to feel intimidated by them,
Yeah, it's really weird. We haven't seen a land speeder or a slave one at all anywhere, that they're always walking, because we knew it was really way out there. And I'm like, man, that's hot.
Yeah.
It's a long freaking walk.
That's why he keeps taking his helmet off.
Right, exactly.
It's just hot.
Matt brings up a good point. Part of the bargain was that I will double my tribute to you if you get rid of these kids. So now Boba Fett has gotten double tribute, and 4 new to his crew. So that was a pretty nice move right there. He says, "Grab your gack, come with me." And yeah, there he is pissed. And the streets of Mos Espa and the Mos Vespa biker gang. The beginning of the next scene has this creature. He's in an intro scene or a cut scene from like another movie.
Oh, from Return of
I
Jedi.
think they do the same thing, right?
It's Return of Jedi, except the flying
special
thing doesn't
edition.
come down. Yeah.
Does he have someone's brains too?
No,
He's
he was just put in
his
as
own
the
thing.
special edition. And like Paul was saying, he got that creature before. Now he waits for the creature, and then the bat swoops in and grabs him. Then he grabs both.
Yeah.
What a
And he was
metaphor,
in
right?
last time, too.
What a
Right.
metaphor.
Yeah.
Right.
What does that mean, Yoko? What's the metaphor of?
There's always a bigger fish in the sea.
Mm-hmm.
I will answer with another metaphor.
Yeah. You can't.
No, it's Qui-Gon's metaphor. You're right.
True. But you're using a metaphor to. Okay. All right. So back to the spa. He still has more dreams. This is like the 3rd time we cut to this. I wonder. Also, he mentions earlier when he's talking to Stephen Root,
Yep.
he's like, "Hey, I grew up. You know,
On
I grew up
water."
around water. Senile Fett. Like nobody was talking about this. He just turns to Fennec. He's like, "Hey, you know, I grew up around a lot of water." Like, okay,
And
Grandpa.
then Fennec
nobody-
gives him the nod. Yeah, the grandpa nod. We know. That's good. Yeah, we've heard you before. This is the 3rd flashback of the dream we've had. We know.
Yeah, I hope Senile Fett catches on.
You can't call him that.
Flat-
God.
Oh, sorry, Ernie. It's all
Look
about
at
water.
how dapper he is right there.
He looks
Gosh.
regal. Look at his posture.
Yes. Look at that.
We cut back to while he's with the Tuscan tribe, and now he's riding into town. He's got his own, he's got his gear now, his brand new gaffy stick, and his own bantha. He's riding into town, and he's asking these Jawas, where do I find the pikes? Where do they do business? Now, MC says Cassian Andor has a zipper on his winter coat.
I'll go find that tweet and let them know.
I think he might. Fact checked. 2 days later. Like, oh yeah? Remember what you said? January 11th? Ha! But some nice callbacks here. He's riding through Mos Espa, and you see the spikes with the stormtrooper helmets on them, which we first see in
I think
The
that's
Mandalorian.
Isn't that Mos Eisley?
Mos Eisley?
I think he's in Mos Eisley.
Yeah, sorry. But it's safe to assume that they're the same ones.
Yeah, I think for sure.
yeah,
Because you
and
see
they're-
Pelimoto in the
Yep.
background walking with her pit droids coming up.
Yeah.
and
Next screenshot.
Right there. And the guy was
No.
just barely putting him on, so we're kind of getting a timeline that this is right
Yeah,
after
this
the
dude right
Empire
here.
goes down.
Yeah.
Compared to Mandalorian, we were seeing it later. They'd already been there.
Right.
But Pelimoto being the shot, that was awesome.
Yeah, I didn't even see it the first time. I was rewatching it, and I saw. I'm like, wait a minute! I saw that hair looks kind of familiar, and then you see the pit droid start following her. I thought that was a nice little Easter egg there. A lot of Easter eggs in this episode. Boba Fett finds that Pike boss. Is his house just one room? Because you walk in the door and he's just sitting there facing you, and it's just that room. So. Or was it like a complex and there's a room within? I don't know. It was a very weird room.
Do you really want to see shots of him walking through different corridors before he gets to that? It's like that whole, do we really need to see the ship land to know that they've taken a
I
ship
need
to
that
the other?
first guard to be like third door on
We
the
want
left.
blueprints. We want everything. Yeah.
He walks into the washroom by accident, and then it's a whole thing. It's probably in the deleted scenes.
All right. All right.
But this Pike boss is voiced by Phil Lamar, Mad TV, a voice acting legend. He's done lots of Star Wars before, Kit Fisto in Clone Wars, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's cool to see him or hear him again. Did anyone watch Mad TV before?
Yeah.
Was it ever like Mad TV versus SNL, or they just kind of you could do both together?
No, it was a versus for quite a while. It was like all the cool kids watch Mad TV.
I think the humor for Mad TV was more age appropriate, like goofy.
Correct. Right.
I think SNL was a little more mature. But I like this dude's whole vibe. He's just sitting there, leaning off to the side, swirling his whatever he's drinking, and he's just chill. And he's letting Boba Fett know, hey, look, this other gang, that Nikto gang, Kintan Striders, they're charging me for protection too. I'm not paying twice. My bosses aren't going to pay twice for the same route. So, you got to figure this out. And yeah, and that's just I had to get the shot of him just swirling his wine like a badass. The Banthas in the series are looking amazing. Makes me want more toys of them. I don't think my 3 3/4 even looks that good. But unfortunately, this is one of the few times that I will say, hey, look, Yoko predicted it correctly. He goes back to find his people have been wiped out. And I don't know, I feel like they kind of went through this scene really quickly.
Really quickly.
So quickly.
Yeah, you couldn't feel the grief that I feel like we were supposed to feel for him.
Totally.
It was
Like Yoko
really
said,
fast.
they built it up. You really
Right.
want to relate to these the Tusken Raiders, find them more. They've humanized them a little bit more, and when they finally kill them, that's the Tusken sign language kill. It's like it was so fast. I didn't feel anything, and it seemed like
Yeah.
Boba Fett didn't feel anything either.
It should have been like
He had some tear buildup at the end.
there was that one moment at the end that I think some people might have missed or not gotten what was happening there. We can get to that. I'm sure there's screenshots, but yeah, like this could have gone on just like a beat or two longer, I think, to really like take in the devastation and the destruction and the first shot. I didn't even notice any bodies, so I was like, oh, did they escape? For a second. I was like, did they escape? Because I didn't.
It got
even
to
notice
this
any
wide
bodies.
of a shot, and I still didn't see a single.
Well, no,
Tusken
I mean,
Raider bar.
they had the one where it's a tracking shot where he's walking and there's that dead Tusken, and it's the chief.
Right.
It's because he's got
but
a
it's after
different
this
breather.
part.
Yeah.
It's after this. It's as he's walking through, but it wasn't really clear. I mean, like it was on the rewatch that I had to say, okay, so the chief is dead.
Yes.
He's got his scepter, and then, but it's like I didn't see any evidence of the female Tusken warrior being dead, and you think that would have affected him more.
Right.
And I think he's a little kid dead because that last stick
I don't
that he
think so
threw in,
either.
like, but
don't think so?
people are speculating that
No.
it's that little crooked stick that he threw in.
But
I thought that
little
was the
kid
kid
has one.
stick.
It was, but if
It looked
you
too
think of
big.
it, again, we're getting that time jump. He had a different one in the last episode. That little stick was from the first episode, and the other little ones were playing with it. In this last episode, he had a different stick.
Yeah, because that looks
Like
way too big. That
Correct.
stick that
Like
he's got?
if he was growing. So that I think the kid and the girl got away. But yeah, in that shot, though, as you're saying, we don't see the bodies, but at the same time, the bodies that we saw, that was like assassin style. Like they were sending a message to him because they were tied up and killed. They weren't just like put there. So it was really, you're absolutely right. We didn't get a long enough shot of it to be able to swallow everything at one time and be like, wow, you know, this really sucks for him. And it went too quick. And then, like you said, you had to catch it that he was like crying right there at the burning scene. And then we just that was it.
I was confused. Did the Tuskens, didn't they get a whole bunch of guns from robbing that train? Maybe they didn't know how to use it to defend themselves. What happened to those guns? But it makes sense because they stole the guns from the Pikes. And I feel like the Pikes have every reason just to go to that gang and be like, hey, look, Boba Fett stole your bikes. They stole stuff from my train. Let's, and they want to get in on your territory and get money. Just go take them out and it'll be mutually beneficial. Like somebody had to have tipped off the gang.
No, I don't. I think because Boba, they in the episode before, they let the Pikes go and they sent them with a message saying, this is Tusken territory. If you want safe passage, you got to pay tribute, right? And so the Pikes are like, they probably went to the biker gang and went, dudes, we're paying you money for all this shit, and our train got hijacked. What the fuck are you doing? So they probably all went en masse and rolled in. No, I think it's just that simple. I think the Pikes, they don't care. They, like the guy said, this is all business. We're happy to, like, that's part of it, but we're not going to pay twice. So, you know, this money has already been promised to these dudes. So, like, you deal with them. Right. And so this is an old fashioned sort of turf war mixed in with a spaghetti Western. And you know it's going to escalate. Right. Like, it's just boom, boom, boom. You know, it's like he pulls a knife, you pull a gun, you send one of his to the hospital, you send one of his to the morgue. And that's the Tatooine way. It's like that. So
it is. It's what you said earlier with the gang style.
Yeah.
This was our turf first.
Yeah. And so this is whole, and this is one village. This is the one that he grew up, like, that took him under his wing. But you have to think that it's not just that one tribe in the Dune Sea, right? That's part of the same group of Tuscans. There's probably many more. And so it's like, you know, Lawrence of Arabia. It's not just that one camp. There are probably hundreds of camps. And so, you know, that biker gang, that's the height of hubris if they think they wipe out one camp, that they've won, right? There's something big is going to happen. And
do you feel that since we didn't see the female warrior, that then she could be going to those camps?
Yeah, absolutely.
And gathering everybody, and that's what we'll see?
With the kid.
I think
is like a massive amount.
I think absolutely. And they're going to show up right when they need to. It's like Gandalf showing up, you know, at the end of Two Towers, like the movie, right? Like when everything is the darkest, that's when they show up. So there's so many different tropes, so many different influences that they're borrowing from. It just seems like, it just seems like it'll fit in that way. And so I felt it was abrupt too. It was like, wow, because they just showed the chief being killed in a panning shot, and even then, if you weren't looking for it, it's easy to dismiss, right?
How would you really know unless you looked in close and saw his necklace?
And his breather.
Yeah,
his breather is different. And it's like the only reason I knew that was because Shauna Tripsick, who is the costume designer for Boba Fett, on her Instagram page, she talked about how that breather was designed differently. So I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And that's what I used to sort of go back when I was doing the rewatch. It's like, is that him? It is, because the breather was the same. So I think for me, the pacing felt weird for this entire episode, right? Like, it just felt certain things that I would have preferred to have fleshed out more weren't, and other things that I was like, I really didn't have as much engagement or investment in. We spent too much time with that. So it felt this was a bit of a jumbly, not a mess, but it was totally, the rhythms were off for me on this. So, and especially after episode 2 being so good, episode 3 was it felt like a speed wobble for me. And it was just like, in all the weird places, things were just, and maybe it's designed to be that way. I don't know. Or maybe it was just
you, man.
Yeah. So
Sneep the Snoop, thank you for tuning in, says Star Wars fans. If we didn't see the body, then they're alive. Yoko and I were talking about this. And it seems like there's opportunities to bring everyone back however many years later. I was calling for
Mace Windu out a window. Yeah.
At the end of Mando season 2. I'm like, let's go Mace Windu. He's alive. Bring him back. No. Too bad.
No, I didn't. I thought it was the whole tribe. You know, I'm open to being wrong again, or wrong. For one.
It was a small pile of bodies.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
It really was. I think even for that camp, it was a small pile of bodies. So I think maybe that's why he wasn't as moved, is the fact that, yes, that camp, but there must have been survivors, because there aren't enough bodies that he found, at least. And so I think
maybe he only burned the ones he liked. He walked by and looked at everybody.
Yeah,
was
Paul,
like,
you want to see him pick up everybody? And
he was like, you were an asshole. No, you were nice. I liked you. Yeah,
you wouldn't share your watermelon.
Exactly. Right. And so that's who he put on there. That's the pile. That was everybody. Like I know
Oh my
Yoko would
God.
walk right past me. He didn't read the books. He
What?
didn't know how to read. Yeah. So I totally see that. That's exactly what that was. I'm only pouring one out for my dead homies. That's it. I'll burn you for the dead ones, and that's all. We don't even know there's like just bodies all laid around, like on another shot.
Well, this flashback was so quick. Maybe it was so quick because it was cut short. He wakes up from his back to dream with the same view that my fiance gets when I wake her up in the morning. She's like, "Oh, wake up, we're late. Let's go, kids. We gotta get them to school." Yeah. So, and it goes from like one problematic scene to another. I think this is the real airing of grievances here, because this fight scene, I got a lot of problems with what's going on in here, and you're gonna hear about it.
This is the next HasLab right here. I need me some Fett chonies. I'll jump in those right away, dude. Make that the next HasLab.
Fett chonies?
Yeah, I want those that he wears. Wait till you see me at Star Wars
Oh, his
Celebration.
space underpants.
Right.
I have an unfortunate screen grab for you later.
Is that going to be your cosplay?
That's my cosplay celebration. I'm gonna walk around with my Fett chonies. I might have a gaffy stick, maybe, but that's what I'm going for.
They're like, "Sir, you can't come in here like this."
And I'll show him this scene.
Yo, it's my cosplay.
Right.
It's my bound.
Here you go.
My back to tank.
My back to tank's in the car.
You'd still be wearing more clothing than some cosplayers, so I think that's fine.
Thank you, Yoko.
Yeah.
Right. You're
He's all
absolutely
slippery
true.
and lubed up.
Yeah.
Like Torrensu said.
I can't
Security's
wait
trying to chase you, but they can't grab you.
You better show up, Kev, because you're going to be the one helping me. I'm like, more butter. I don't look like the screen accurate.
His Vespa gang. Let's be his Vespa gang.
more butter. Yeah. That's gonna
Grease
be
me
it,
up.
man. I'm ready. I'll put Hasbro on it too. I'll sell it to them. I'll be there. I'll be their model man.
You just
That's
have
it.
a gaffy stick,
Oh my god.
Yeah.
and then your celebration lanyard pass.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna tuck it in the side though. The
Mhm.
bottom. I'm gonna
Oh
tuck
my
it
God.
Is
in,
there
so
a
it-
pocket?
Right. No, but it will tuck in right there. It looked like he had it.
In
To be
the
too
prison
slippery, I can't
wallet?
wear it on the neck. Yeah. I do have it on. I do.
Oh no!
Do you want to check?
did you?
Hmm?
You didn't go by frame for this one, did you, Ernie? Because that's pretty neat.
I have a good screenshot for you, Ernie, if
On
you
his
want
Fett
accuracy.
chonies. Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Well, let me see the
All right,
Fett
Paul,
chonies.
are we back? We good?
Oh, yeah.
I wish we could zoom in and you could see that it says Fed on it. It's written in that Mando language. He has them all labeled. You can see it. Wow.
It says Monday.
Yeah, it did. That's our only first reference here that we know of a timeline. I can't.
Oh my god! No zipper though, obviously.
No,
They're
because there's no zippers.
Oh my
It's
God.
soft.
Yeah, they're underpants.
Fett
Right.
chonies. Jesus.
Right.
Oh.
And but man, the first we good?
Paul cannot wait for Celebration
He's
22.
playing healer.
Nah. He's gonna hear me from across the room. Paul! Paul! He's just
Can you
running.
imagine the photos at Celebration? It's Carson Teva standing next to Boba Fett with just the
Oh my god.
underpants
Tony.
Oh,
It's gonna be great.
as they fall. All right. Thank you, chat. Thank you, chat, for that one. You are the real heroes.
Oh, RMD, that was a good one. That was good.
So this fight scene, I thought it was gonna be epic. I mean, well, somehow a 7-foot tall Wookiee sneaks through the palace into his room. I'm like, it's gonna be a huge fight scene. This is gonna be badass.
oh my god. That I can buy. I could buy him sneaking in because Jabba's palace probably has a ton of secret chambers,
Right.
like passageways for him to escape and this and that. Like it was a monastery before. We know monks are all into that secret shit. And so that doesn't surprise me that Black Chrysanthemum, he knows that there are these passageways that he can take advantage of, right? I mean,
Well, the
we
twins
joke
had to
that,
tell them.
yeah, and we joke that Boba Fett has the worst security in the history of the Star Wars universe, because, like, come on, man, how many times does he have to leave himself open? Like, and that's the thing. So the way this fight sequence was choreographed, the damage that's inflicted versus the after effects were, in my opinion, just wildly inconsistent. And if you've taken like rudimentary fight courses in theater school, you're telling a story in it, but there are consequences to the actions. And in a fight sequence, that has to be you got to follow those in story rules. Otherwise, it loses the power of that story itself. And there are many instances where it's like, when he charges up those vibro knuckles, and those are sharp spikes, and yes, they're electrified, but when he cranks Boba in the face, you expect to see a little bit of blood. I don't know, like if a 7-foot-tall Wookiee winds up and goes to town on your face, your jaw is going to be busted, right? Like, it's just, I don't know how strong Boba Fett's head is. So I guess it's pretty strong.
Wow.
Right?
This was an unfortunate screenshot.
There's my pocket. That's where my
decided
lanyard.
to keep
That's where
it
my lanyard's gonna be.
for comedic effect. I will be sending this to Ernie. I had not planned on that story of going to celebration like this, but I decided to keep this in, but here it is.
Oh my God.
It looks like there are pockets.
There are.
But I was trying to get to this.
Look at those knuckles.
Brass knuckles.
Yeah.
Look at that. And yeah, maybe you could argue that there's an electromagnetic field built around it so that the knuckles themselves don't physically hit the person, causing that kind of damage, right? Like maybe there's a strong electromagnetic
You just haven't said the right answer. He did hit Boba right in the face, and Boba took it like a champ, like he's supposed to. He did the Bruce Lee.
Because he's a badass.
Right, exactly. Took that beating.
Boba Fett no-sold it. He no-sold it.
Captain Ruck, thank you. Seller screen grab. I actually played it back at like 0.5 speed throughout this whole fight scene to get screenshots.
Wow. Dedication.
So yeah, he punches him in the face.
Please tell me you got the toe then.
Yeah.
What? I missed the toe. What is that?
Oh, Yoko. I thought he died.
Right? Yeah.
For a moment there, dude, I thought he died. It's in the bear hug scene, the very first one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, can the Bacta tank bring you back to life? Because he got squeezed so hard and he goes limp and his toe goes straight up.
Yeah.
It was really gross looking. Like,
It's
if
like
you
it's
want to see
broken.
the toe during celebration, you're going to have to pay
It's
extra
right
for
here.
that. And then I'll show you
It's
the
right
toe.
here when he gets him in the bear hug or the
Right.
Wookiee hug. And this part was good. You really kind of felt each hit Boba Fett was trying to land on Black Chrysanthemum, and you kind of the audio sounded really good. But when I was watching, trying to get my kid to sleep and it was on mute, at some points it looked like they were just hugging or
Hug it out.
dancing.
Hug it out.
Hug it out. It's like I
Look
don't
at all
want to
that
fight
butter.
you.
We're going to be ready to go, dude. Look at that. Right. It's chomping away, dude.
Right.
Bit
So
it-
when he's
Look at that toe.
How did you miss
so
that,
he's
Yoko?
kind of-
Because I watched at
Bear
midnight.
hugging
I
him.
don't know.
Look at
I
that.
bet
Don't zoom in on it. That's great.
it's
Oh,
busted
sorry.
straight up. That's what it looks like. I thought it was broken.
So yeah, I thought he had died because like if he snapped all his bones or something, I was like, dude, is the Bacta tank gonna bring him back?
Well, here's the thing.
Because he
it's
kind of went
this.
limp place.
Yeah, it's this, and then he's crushing him some more, and then his feet just kind of drop after. That's when I thought,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
there's some serious damage here. But
Right.
then he gets up, comes out in his robe and slippies, and he's like, hey, get that guy in the Bacta tank because he's in worse condition than me. So I'm like, well,
But
what
you
was the
can
point of
hear-
that? What
but
damage?
You can hear his
was it?
bones, or you can hear crackling when
Something
he's
was
doing
crunching.
that. You hear,
Yeah.
like a crunching sound. So I'm like, oh, geez, he just crushed his entire rib cage. That's it, right?
Yeah, the toe was weird, dude. It really was. If
Like-
I'm gonna
Were they photoshopping something and then like missed it?
I don't No, it was straight. It's his toe. I don't even know how I did that.
Well,
I
I thought
did
it was
watch it
broken.
back.
This is
Watch it back in the scene, and it's there, dude. It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Anyone in the chat right now trying to lift their toe like Boba Fett is? Because
Right.
I am under the desk.
I
I
am
can't do
too. Because I'm thinking about it. If I'm going to cosplay hardcore at Celebration and I need to pull out the toe, you're going to have to print me one.
Prosthetic toe.
Yeah, you're going to have to print me one and I'll just attach the toe to my toe because I can't do that. That's crazy right there, man. I don't even know why it looks so big, like it's about to explode.
It's swollen.
It's alarming.
I thought
Yes.
it was broken. Like when he got thrown
Yes.
a bunch of times. That was busted.
Yeah, he
Gary
got thrown
tried. John
everywhere.
says, "I'm not wearing shoes, so it worked." Both
for you.
toes
I
says
can't do
Sky
that.
Rider.
I can't do that.
Like,
Are you
even
guys the
if
ones
it-
who can pick up stuff with your feet? Ugh.
It doesn't like.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, I can
Because
do
now
it.
the toe goes back, and he's. Did Paul just try it?
Yeah, I can do it. It's just
But it looks weird. It doesn't just look
Yeah.
like it's lifted up. It looks weird.
Yeah.
Inflated.
Oh no, Nerdy Curious says, "Isn't it against Twitch terms of service to show feet?" Uh-oh.
Is it?
I'll put this
Is
on
that a
Ernie
real thing?
OnlyFans.
You have
Yeah,
to put that.
thanks.
You have to put that tag on there.
Wow.
Really?
All right.
No, I have no idea.
Wow.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, send it to me,
Oh,
Kev. I have
boy.
my OnlyFans worked out for the weekend then. Y'all want some fat toe? Here it is.
Toba feet.
Yeah, Boba Fett.
Well,
for all
the Power Rangers come to the rescue, the teenagers with attitude, and they surround him.
well,
Surrounded
first
by
she
Chrysanthemum.
shanked him. She shanked him
She
prison
shanked
style.
him.
That was pretty cool. That was.
Boba used the gaffy stick, got a few hits in, kind of wedged it, lodged it into
Yeah.
the Wookiee's back,
He like
and they form a
straight up
circle around
stabbed
him.
him. They speared him, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
he got shivved. He got shanked with the
Yes.
with the gaffy stick. He had to pull it out of him and cranked him. So here's the thing: he's been bitten, number of times, right? There's no blood. There's no after effect for that. He doesn't need bandages. Like even after Chewie got shot, they had to wrap a bandage around his arm, right? So that's the other thing that sort of gets me is like he's been stabbed, and his skin must have been broken multiple times, but there's nothing. Same with Boba. Like he gets bit, like Black
The bite.
Chrysanthemum bites him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's a full-on
Nothing.
Wookiee bite, and there's nothing. So it's these little things that make it, for lack of a better term, seem like a Marvel fight, very bloodless.
Okay.
Not that there's a ton of blood in Star Wars, anyways, but if it's going to be like that, sort of like graphic in nature, I mean, there's got to be. Again, it's just the consequence of that fight, and that's why it just felt really quite jarring. Because it was just like none of it really made sense to me. Because the blows that Boba Fett were taking in this were far worse than the ones he was taking when they were surrounded by the Night Wind in front of that place, and yet he had to be rushed back to the back to tank
Yeah.
for
Right.
that. And it was like, really? That's it? Like a bunch of guys hit him with sticks. This one is, man, a Wookiee crushed his fucking ribs,
Yeah.
smashed him in the face with his brass knuckles, electrified brass knuckles. And he was fine. Maybe it was his jabronis or whatever that you called.
Well, it's a good thing they established previously that he's a gladiator. You know, you're bring on your gladiators so he can
Right.
take a certain amount of beatings in a fight. But again, like you said, no bite mark, nothing, no effect on Boba Fett. But he bites one of the Gamorreans later, right in the
Yeah.
shoulder, grabs some gabagool off of there, some pork shoulder, and
Yeah, it
that guy
was.
needs to go into the back to tank.
Yeah.
So there's those inconsistencies which are
Yeah.
just kind of weird in the fact that, I mean, just being a Wookiee alone, like, he's going to be way stronger and he's going to be able to absorb more damage. But it's just like he stabbed him
Right.
with a gaffy stick and it was in there so deep, he had to yank it out.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's, I don't know. That's
Maybe
kind
he has a lot of
that's
knots in
serious
his
injury.
fur. He doesn't.
Yeah,
I don't think he brushes his fur every
No,
day.
He
Conditioners.
does not use
There's a lot of
Suavecito on that
tangles.
fur.
It's like an extra layer.
Right.
I could buy that, but not
doesn't.
if he stuck that. I mean, that gaffy stick was like it hit flesh.
It was.
Right.
It was in him. But you know what? A lot more people need to give my Boba Fett love because he went after him. He didn't chicken out. He went right for his leg, which was actually pretty funny because he even like he was gonna lift him and flip him or something. I was like, dang, he's going for it. He didn't back out or anything. He straight up just went full at him and tried to flip a Wookiee. Like he really thought that was going to work. Like you got to give it to him for that.
My problem was these 4 guys. Okay, so the guy with the chain grabs his arm.
Yeah.
That kind of makes sense with that weapon, but he's so strong he'll just flip you across.
Yeah.
The webcam, I'm calling him webcam now, by the way. That's his Star Wars name. He has a blaster, okay? And every shot that he landed hit his armor because you could see sparks. So what does he do afterwards? He decides to use his gun and walk closer and shoot so that he could get hit by the Wookiee. Like if you have a gun, you're not going to be like, "Hey, come closer within arm's reach, and then I'll shoot you there." You would think with a webcam eye, there's some sort of targeting. Maybe you could shoot more accurately, but he only hit the metal armor parts. Then he says, "Let me go in so you can hit the gun out of my hand." I think that's lazy choreography, like fight choreography. But they get their asses handed to them. He knocks the Gamorreans down the stairs, and
but wait, do we even know if these kids are like trained fighters at all? Like, maybe we're expecting a little bit too much from them. Like we don't.
I'm totally with you there, Yoko. When she ducked, when she shanked him, I thought, oh, okay. That's when it put it in my head, because she shanked him, and then he threw back to hit her, and she ducked under it, and then pulled away the knife. Like, I don't know. I think if they were less experienced, she would have got hit. But it goes back to what Paul was saying. It is just a weird choreograph of a fight, though.
Oh my God, Boba does look like Zordon in the tube. That's genius. No, just floating in the Bacta tank. That's Zordon. And he says, "Fennec Shand, I need teenagers with attitude."
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. So then Fennec is what's his name? Alpha 5? Or what's his name?
Alpha 5, baby.
That's Fennec then?
They even have the same features.
God.
Wow. That's Fett in the tank.
Perfect. Huh? Thank you, Charles Stevens. Right. Well, the fight heads to the main room. He falls into the trapdoor. Everyone happens to walk on that one little square. And Fennec drops him in.
Yeah.
She's got a cool knife.
Where was she?
Where was she? Yeah.
Where was she?
Got her gear on.
Huh?
I kind of said, dude, that she heard him screaming again. He's like, he's having the nightmares. Just let him sleep. He'll get through it.
It was in his Bacta tank.
Right. Yeah.
There's no way you can hear him screaming in his Bacta tank.
Well, remember because he said I had the nightmares again. I don't know, where was she? Was she walking slow down the hall? Does she have the room way at the end of the hall? Like
maybe she was outside the palace on patrol or something like that. Maybe she was taking a dump and was just like, "Oh,
right."
I just started.
Everything? I just sat down.
Like, I gotta finish. Just hold on a second. And you can't rush it, so you just
no. And her outfit that ain't going back on right away.
Does she still have like intestines? You think? Like she's got like robot parts. I don't know. Wait, what happens when she eats? This is a very good question.
Maybe she was giving herself an oil change. I don't know what does happen then.
She was streaming. She was live streaming on Twitch.
She doesn't have it. Yeah, that was crazy.
She had her headphones on.
Oh, I'm glad you got that shot. That is a great shot. You know why? Because that's where Han was hanging in carbonite in that hole right back there.
Oh,
and,
nice.
Yeah, and now he's standing there with his robe. I love that shot. That was great.
Papa Schmitty says it was dump 30 for Fennec.
What up, Papa? Yeah, dude, I love that shot. A lot of people missed that. I was trying to point that out. I was like, wasn't that cool that Boba was standing like right where Han was in carbonite? And it was like, what? I'm like, yeah, like look at the square still even cut out behind him. Like that was cool. But see, this will then Paul, don't worry, I'll throw on the robe later in the day at Celebration.
No, the robe comes off once you get into the main hall.
My friend.
Yeah.
No
robes until you get in.
Oh, yeah. Once I get in,
you gotta stay all buttered up.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. It's a nice robe, though. I would buy that. Throw a Star Wars label on it.
I bet it'll exist.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to
Will
have
it be
one.
at Galaxy's Edge?
Yeah, and I'll wear it on the show. Do you like my robe?
Dude, when we were there, they had that really nice Leia dress.
Yeah.
And it was like $200 or something. Did I try it on? No, I was going to buy it for my fiance. And then I'm
That's
like,
nice.
is that gonna be her souvenir for this trip? Like, she's gonna be pissed.
Yeah. Then Kev was
She'd
like,
be
"That's
like-
more of a gift for myself."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yoko just said,
I was
what
like,
we
call
all
me
think.
Han, baby.
Yeah. Well, at least he didn't say Luke, so that's good. Good job there. Good job.
Nice. All right, this is a screenshot that Yoko wanted.
Yes, this is a mood. This is a mood.
Fennec eating a turkey
Yeah.
leg.
With
Yeah.
her turkey leg.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All things Disney.
Yeah.
This is it. Like they go over everything.
Yeah.
There's the spotchka.
There's
There's,
the-
everything.
yeah.
There's a Ronto roaster right there in the middle. The wrap.
Is there actually?
Man, could really
look
go
at
for
it,
a
it's
Ronto
wrapped right
wrap
there.
now.
Yeah.
And the poor droid, he comes in. He's like, enough food.
He does not get paid enough. He's an R. I want that R5 droid. He's black and red. I want to know his name. He's showing the map. He's probably cooking and serving the food. And then like Boba's in a funk. Fennec's, like you said, just all in her feels in a mood, totally. And then he just looks at the droid and is like, "Okay, it's your turn to take watch." Like that sucks, dude. Like I just made all this food for you, and now you're sending me out on patrol.
You don't even care that I made
Right?
all this food.
Exactly. Yeah.
Gets no respect.
Yeah. I want to know that droid's name, dude, because that's a dope droid.
Was it not in the subtitles, or I guess he didn't deserve any because he just
Yeah,
Bleeps
they didn't
boys.
say nothing about the R5 droid. I want
maybe
that though.
Paul can go ask John Favreau.
He's texting him right now.
Right. Because whatever he says is gonna be right. Ernie's asking another stupid question. Can you give me the answer, please?
This Fallen Fett guy again. Ugh,
Yeah.
just wanted to know.
That's what happened.
But
I got a question for you guys that
Yes.
I really want to know. Are they like conjoined twins? Does she have another arm?
they're wrapped.
Or are
I
they
wondered
each
that
other.
also.
Yeah, because this second scene, I was like, wait a second, we haven't seen her other arm, and the way that her tail goes into his gut, like I
It
can
looks a
get
little
it.
connected. I get
Yes.
it. I see it. I also
Right.
see it, but I don't. But I do think they are two separate beings. But
Okay.
they look like they could be one.
You can see his tail curling around her other side, though, right?
Here.
So
Yes. Right. But where's her arm?
But that middle part
It's
looks
behind
like
his
it could be
arm.
connected. That could just be a fat roll, right?
yeah, it's
Like-
it's her other arm is actually stroking his back in a very awkward, familial way.
Still, they could still both have arms. It still looks a little bit
Yeah, yeah.
connected. Where her tail is in front of his belly, I guess.
Yeah,
Looks like it could be connected, but I don't think it is. Is that what
But
you're
just
saying?
because they're twins,
Yeah.
do they have
Yeah.
to share the same platform? Like they just
right. Why
each
can't
get
she
their
show
own.
up on? Yeah, exactly. Well, then in the next scene too that we get, I'm sure that they're like, why can't we have one of those?
nice.
Yeah.
The graph lift.
Yes.
Well, it's funny because Boba Fett and Fennec Shen were talking. Oh, they're Fets. We gotta wait for their next move. What am I gonna do? Everyone's waiting for me to react. I think it's kind of cool because you're getting the behind the scenes, like what's the boss, what's the leader's thought pattern, what's his strategies, things like that. So that's a cool scene. But right away, they're like, we got to do something. We can't wait for the Fets, or they're gonna come for you. Hey, knock knock. Fets are outside. They have a message for you. We have come to apologize. And I think I zoomed in too much to the conjoined Hutt twins. I love it straight up. We sent him to kill you. Ernie, I think that was a cool point that you said. Maybe they told Chrysanthemum, is like, hey, we used to play at Jabba's palace when we were kids. There's a secret passage here.
Right.
You could just
Yeah.
sneak through there. That'd be pretty
was
cool.
By Jabba's, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they're a hut. But there's that sweat rag again, though, too, Yoko.
Oh, I didn't notice. I don't think I noticed that he had it again. That poor
Yeah.
that poor little cutie.
It's hot. It's two sons.
And I think if you watch it, it's trying to bite his hand.
Is
As
it?
he's
Was it
wiping
really?
yeah.
I didn't notice that.
In the first episode, he was.
You go, little
That's
guy.
awesome. I didn't know that.
But is it okay? We tried to kill you, but we failed. So here's an apology. I brought you a gift. Is that acceptable in the underworld? Please accept this gift as restitution. What shows
Right, and-
up?
That's dope. And the litter looks
That's
over
loud.
and goes, "What the hell is that? Is that a floating platform?" Why are we
An
here?
apology Rancor. And it's a baby Rancor. And of course, I think myself and a lot of people were like, is that Moochie? Was it held off-site? But
I still don't think that's Moochie.
I don't think so either. They don't use that name.
Right.
Plus, wasn't Moochie female?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I didn't.
But
Did
that
they
is
say this
Danny
one was a male?
Trejo.
I didn't check the undercarriage.
They called him Yee.
Oh, sure. It comes in your Rancor. It comes with its own keeper.
Yeah.
Played
And
by.
you knew it was only a matter of time before Danny Trejo shows up.
Absolutely.
It's a
Star
Robert
Wars?
Rodriguez thing. Yeah. If Robert Rodriguez is involved,
Yeah.
he's going to bring his buddy Danny Trejo in.
That's what I kept calling out. And not only that, he's a Star Wars fan and lover. That's why I thought he was the chief, because he played the chief in Fanboys. And I was like, oh, that'd be awesome if not awesome, but when we do see his death, he gets unmasked and it's Danny Trejo. Like,
Yeah.
But this is even better. That was great.
Is it
What's
better?
going on? He says Hasbro shipping that Rancor without the brown box. Shake my head.
Yeah, now everybody wants a Rancor. All you gotta do is slap a Boba label on it and give us tier 1 with both Rancor keepers and watch it sell out.
Oh my god. I mean, I talked about this, what was it with Yoko? Like, you have to question, did somebody not want to time this with
It
the
does make me
HasLab
wonder why they
and
didn't
the
wait
show?
to have fresh Rancor hype. Yes.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
had
it was all bad.
8,200, is it 8,200 Ernie backers?
Yeah, around there.
was
Yeah,
close.
They needed
84.
9,000.
Right.
I feel like
It was
this
all bad.
could have.
It
They're
was bad all
400
at the same
away.
time.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
400 away. But they would have to rework the scale of this because the Rancor
It's a
that they
baby.
had, this is a baby. The other one was a fully grown Rancor, different colors, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's all cosmetic.
Right.
They'd be able to fix that for sure. But I mean, still, they still need to fix the price point because $400 for that Rancor with the shitty tiers that they had versus like you could get a fully functioning proton pack with lights and sound.
Right.
For the same price, or even the GI Joe, the Star Striker, or the Voltron one, which is better value because they did more and they came with way better accessories. But like $400 for a Rancor, come on.
No, it should have been 200, and it should have went up this weekend. And then even at that, being at another scale, okay, then. So you give us a Black Series Rancor, you throw that in. The first two tiers are going to be, the first tier is going to be both Rancor keepers. Original trilogy and Danny Trejo, and then down the line you repurpose a 3 3/4 one and call it the Boba Fett one as a
There
baby.
you go.
That could have been like your
Danny
fourth and final
Trejo is
tier.
a tier unlock. That's amazing. Like, how many more people would want that?
Oh yeah, you should have been this weekend. But I am sorry for everybody who didn't get their Rancor. But I'm with Paul. That was way too much. I wouldn't have done it anyways. Those tiers would have had to been amazing.
I'm thinking like, did they have to
200,
do
I'm
it?
all in.
Yeah, 200 is easy.
Right.
I'm thinking, did they have to do it in 2021? Like the time was running out? I don't know. Or did nobody
that was
talk
just-
to Lucasfilm? Like,
That was just plain
Hey.
weird, man. They had like
they had them
four
all
things.
going.
Yeah,
They had them all
it's-
going.
come on.
Right. Ghostbusters, Transformers,
Like I can't put it
G.I.
entirely on Hasbro because like Hasbro doesn't just dictate everything. Everything goes back
No.
to Lucasfilm, right? It goes
Yeah.
back to the licensor, and the licensor provides feedback on things or possible timings, suggestions. Like that's part of the process. So I'm just surprised that nowhere along the way this came up. Like even if they didn't tell Hasbro exactly what was going to be happening, I just feel like someone could have been like, "Hey, you might want to wait."
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you
There's
want
a
to
reason you might
wait,
wanna
wait
wait, like,
until.
Yeah, like
Right.
I've been part of conversations like that with licensors and work, so it's just it just makes me wonder how this ball was dropped.
Because you could have handled it exactly like that, Yoko, because it was just a tease. First, it got leaked out, and then they said the tease was coming, so they really didn't have to address it. Then they could have just stretched it out until now. Oh, you need us to wait? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Yeah.
And what is the strategy like? Hey, do we put it out before Christmas where people might have money to spend? or might want to buy themselves a gift. Or in January, where there's a new show, but people are recovering from Christmas spending. Is that a factor? It's just very strange, and it's very unfortunate that we don't get the HasLab. But just seeing stuff like this just brings all the memories back, the emotions.
But I mean, if you have it at a lower price point, more people can buy it or are willing to buy it because it's actually, you know, a little bit more affordable. I'd rather they could have sold over 18,000.
How big would he have been?
He was to scale
17.
like yeah. So if he was to scale to of a vintage series, vintage collection figure, 3.75 inch, so he would have been because
No,
he's
it
got
was
a
a Black
grab
Series
ground.
one.
Was he a Black Series?
Yes, he
Black
was.
Series.
So he was larger.
Not a vintage collection. Oh my
No, it
god!
was
So
not.
yeah,
it was
so
a
then
Black
it's-
Series. Yes, it was.
Then there you go. It's even bigger, but
And
at
they're
the
like,
same
if
time,
you put his
it's just
arm
like-
straight up, it's even taller.
No, remember, and he said his wingspan. If you put his wingspan
I
out,
don't know. Like that price might not be as crazy as you think. Honestly, like toys are getting expensive to make. Everything's expensive these days.
And they have to kick up to the mouse.
Yep. The Star Wars royalties are really high.
Their tribute.
Yeah, the
it's their
tribute is
tribute
very
to the
high.
mouse.
So
Yeah,
I have to
So,
get
like-
mine every weekend.
yeah.
I
The
think
mouse
if it
is
were-
the mob boss.
I think if it were cheaper and they sold like 18,000 of them versus more expensive and 0 of them, I mean the math, it just makes no sense. I mean, hindsight is 20/20. It's easy for me to say, but I think there's a mix of arrogance and hubris, and they were betting that people would choose Star Wars over the other things. In a crowded Christmas market, and it just there was no kick, there was no push to it because there was no real the tiers weren't incentive enough, and this hadn't aired yet. I think you're right, Yoko. Timing would have been everything.
Yeah.
They dropped that. If this came out and then they dropped that as a HasLab with 3 other things, then it would be a different story altogether. But
18,000 isn't far fetched for a HasLab. Like
No.
most of them crush that number.
the
Marvel
Ghost
ones all crush
the
them.
Proton Pack got to like 19,000 or something like that. It was a ridiculous number of Proton Packs, and there's like $400 US per pack. I ordered 2 of them, right? So it's not out of the realm of possibility if you look at it and you go, okay, it's in the wheelhouse of what do they want? What are the tier levels that are involved? And what does it do, right? The HasLab Proton Pack was a no-brainer for me because I built my own Proton Pack out of fiberglass and aluminum and the soundboards and all this stuff. So it's just like when you see how much it actually costs to build one versus what you're getting from Hasbro, you kind of go $400. Is it 400? $500 for a Proton Pack with sounds and lights. And it's like 20 pounds lighter than the one that I like 30 pounds lighter. Oh my God, that's a steal. So
Right.
you snap that up. You get a Rancor and go, yeah, it's big, but what else does it do? Oh, you can pose it? Oh,
Get
shit.
bones.
Yeah,
it couldn't. It couldn't even swallow a figure whole. And check out this
Yeah.
Check out this cardboard they gave me.
exactly. It's like, oh yeah, but you get this
Cardboard is
awesome cardboard
strange.
cutout.
The cardboard is strange.
Yeah, and it's like, come on,
That
man.
should come in the box. We've always had that from 3.75 to everything. That's
Yeah, I
called
was
the
going to say,
back
what
of
were
the
they going to put in the
box.
box?
Right.
Nothing.
Exactly.
So I don't know.
All right, we're back to beating a dead
Yeah,
Bantha
no,
over
I'm
here.
sorry.
Yeah, I mean, all the Rancor
Dead
scenes,
Rancor.
it's going to bring it up. And,
Mhm.
we're passionate fans.
Somebody just said about the pop right now, and I'm like, "Ooh, yeah, I have an extra one. I should put that up."
Pop?
Yeah,
the
there's a pop
Rancor?
Rancor. Yeah.
Okay. And now, back to the show. We were both lied to. And it plays out. I was kind of suspicious of that Makshai's mayor in the first episode. He's like, hey, here's an assassin that I sent after you. Let me shoot him. Then he can't rat me out. Maybe you should go look at the Hutts. So he's been playing Boba Fett and the Hutts against each other because this territory has already been promised to another syndicate. I love that line. That's spineless. Mayor Makshai's.
Do you know what I loved
Oh,
about
the
this whole
screenshot
scene is them just speaking Huttese. To hear them talk, I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, it was great.
You walk around after the whole time, and you're
Bo-
always trying to do everything.
Boba says, "Take back your bounty hunter," and then they say, "You know what? Keep him. That's our tribute to you. But you should get off this planet. We're out of here. There's war coming, and it's bad for business." He's telling them straight up, "There's war coming." Boba Fett does a really nice thing. He's like, "Hey, let him go. He's just a bounty hunter. We don't. It's either we let him go or I kill him." Very strange choice for him to just piece out of there, like in this light jog. It reminded me of like, I don't know, like a Harry and the Hendersons or something. And he just pieced out of there.
Bro, it was so weird.
He's going like this.
Yeah.
He goes, "I can leave." I like when he gives the eyebrow, the one raised eyebrow. It's a great look on Black Chrysanthemum. But he says, "You can leave." He's like, "Don't work for any shitty bosses." He's like, "Oh, okay." Whoop, 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 and then just runs off.
then he skips off. Yeah.
He ran away so weird. Like, why did we have to see that? I saw it like Friday after my grandmama gave me that chain, and then he just ran away. Like, dude, that was so weird.
It was a weird runoff. It made him not look
He went
badass.
from badass to like a little kid.
Yeah.
Right. That
It's
was
like, "Oh, really? I'm not in trouble? All right, I'm gonna go now."
Somebody said it looked like he had to go to the bathroom, and then I can't see that. And it does. Like, as many times I watched it, and I was like, "Oh, here it comes. I gotta go." Yeah.
He's just like, "Oh, thank God you let me go. I really, really need to go." And there's a lot of fur. All right, so they've loaded up this new Rancor. He's just laying there with his legs, like his hind legs are spread out, like somehow dogs laying in the ground.
Is he splooting?
Yeah, I don't know.
Wait, go back. I didn't notice that. Is it a
What?
Rancor sploot?
Yep.
That's amazing.
It was just cool to hear him talk about. Was he part of the gift? Do you come with the Rancor? Like, did the Hutts just give him along? He's a keeper.
Yeah, it's a whole package. I don't know. I couldn't wait to talk to Paul about this scene. Do you feel like this is true? Like, I've never heard any of this before.
Yeah.
The imprinting?
What?
The Twilight stuff?
Everything that he was explaining. I was like, okay, this is all new.
I mean, it's ripe for territory because the only sort of exposure that we've had in universe, other than the comic books or the novels about Rancors, has just been its brief appearance in Return of the Jedi, right? So much in the same way they've reconstituted the structure of the Tusken Raiders on Tatooine, they've actually made and this is something that they've done from the get-go, from like weird ass props that people used to laugh at, that they've turned into like actual in-universe useful things, like the Camtonos / ice cream makers, like all those different things. Right. They're doing that with the Rancor too. And like, this is a recurring theme in all these series, is that, there's a deeper story. There's more to what meets the eye. And I think that makes sense to me. Like, I'm not against it. They do make reference to, because they're linking it to Clone Wars with, the sisters, the witches of Dathomir, how that was great. They ride on them and stuff like that. I know my son, he's got a book called The Creatures of Star Wars, and there's sketches of the witches riding on them. So, this is what I love about when they do the deep dives in the secondary material. They pull out really cool things and then they make them totally canon. So no, I hadn't ever heard of that, but like, makes sense to me. And it's the same thing, like the mythosaur and stuff with the Mandalorian. You're getting just more detailed backstory and more history about it. So it's like, I'll buy it. And and that's why it's not Moochie either in there, because gender, but also it's had the blinders on from the beginning, so it can imprint on him, right? And Moochie had no blinders on, and I think it imprinted with Omega because she had no helmet.
There's a lot of callbacks in this whole scene.
Yeah.
In the whole scene,
callbacks,
dude. With the whole him showing up and then talking about that, and you get that, and then you can write it. Well, technically, his sister did, right? Which was Omega. she rode them, and so he says that, and then he says, "I've rode creatures twice the size."
Yeah,
which
what
would be
creature
the
is that?
mythosaur, the mythosaur from the holiday special, though.
Oh,
The cartoon one, the very first appearance. That's what they said was an original mythosaur back in the day. That was what they called it. So that's a callback to him saying that, which I thought was very cool. But not only in that same scene, in that cartoon, the pike that he's holding, the spike, whatever it is, gun, that's the same one Danny Trejo has now. In this whole scene is like from the cartoon of the first appearance of Boba Fett. Right.
Oh, that's cool.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. There was a lot here. Like, to tie in this whole little scene with this was like that. And then I don't know if I fully believe him or not. Like, I don't believe.
I don't believe
not
anything
either?
in this scene. No.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Because it was really weird. And the Hutt's just taking off and saying that I don't believe that. And then, like where I was saying, so you get the Rancor Keeper. Like, I would kind of get that. But everything that he's telling him, I felt like it's going to be like a play against him. I don't know. Unless Danny Trejo
it's totally sabotage. He's being okay. I don't trust it one bit. Nope.
All right, Yoko theory. Here we go.
I think that's just a byproduct of Danny Trejo, though.
Right. See, that's what's hard.
It's just like he's trying to be nice. He's trying, like, that's what I'm trying to read. It's like, it reads as really evil and scary. Right. Oh, for fuck's sakes, what am I supposed to do? Like, I think that's just Danny Trejo, right? You just kind of go, can I trust it?
That's exactly what I said. Is it just Danny, or is it no, he's going to turn against him? The imprinting is that's who you're going to kill. Because we've never seen a Rancor blinded up. So it seems like I haven't fed him in months. He's the first thing he sees. That's what he's going to want to eat.
Teasing him,
you get what I'm saying?
him,
yeah.
Singing
like,
off
I don't know.
I think if that was going to happen, it would have happened after they took the blinders off and he went up to it and went like, oh, you like that? And it would have just gone, home, and just swallowed him whole, right?
Well, he's impervious to bites from monsters, so that'll be fine.
Long con, Paul. Like I said last week, it's the long con.
The long con, yeah.
Okay. But man, what an animal lover he is, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a very strange choice for him to be like, is that the spot?
Oh, he'll be back.
Yeah.
He'll be back.
You like that? What am I going to name you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's petting him. He's like, oh, is that the spot? Do you like, you're the most feared bounty hunt? Yeah, no wonder you don't get no respect, dude. Like, I mean, I play with puppies like that in private too, but I'm not like a mob boss.
You're not streaming it? No? All right.
Yeah. There's not another like, and as he's petting him, Danny Trejo's just standing there. He's like, yep, this isn't weird.
See? You're right.
It's not weird at all. This is an artist, Megan, who drew this on Instagram. I saw it today. She's done some stuff with my friend Jason Lowe. I think she's the colorist for that Star Wars story that Jason did that I bought the comic for the other day. She drew this. It's Boba petting the Rancor. Says, hey, don't be sad. I love you, Professor Squishy Boots. You're a good boy. No, you're the best boy. What if you just named the Rancor Professor Squishy Boots? That'd be hilarious. But she's a local artist, so go check her out. Vito Corleone had a cat. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't think he could put this Rancor in his lap, though.
Look, Boba Fett is no Vito Corleone, okay? Let's not get crazy. Let's not get nuts. A really cool detail on the close-ups of the Rancor. Just at some points, even with the lighting, it looks like it's old school claymation almost, but it could be my poorly illuminated screen. But now they're like, get Fennec Shand. We're gonna go pay the mayor a visit. So, as Winger Luz pointed out, these are the in-space Rangers on their motorbikes, and they're riding into town. Very colorful, stands out a lot. I mean, now that you said it, Paul, maybe they're going for the look. Like, we're kids. You old timers want to do the same old stuff. We want to do something different. And that part kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it just kind of hit me. It's like they're being oppositional to everything. So everybody's all dusty. We're gonna be spick and span.
everything's all like dirty. We're going to be all shiny. So I don't know. I think that might be a way to go. I mean, but it was for me visually just it just seemed off. But maybe that's what they were going for. I mean, that I gotta think that they're doing that on purpose, right? So.
Courtney, what's going on? Welcome. He says Tony Soprano did some dirt, but he took care of those ducks. And don't forget Pie Oh My. He was a big animal lover. But thanks for stopping in. He says the Griff Tanner gang. Those kids are. I'm just gonna cut all the scenes with the Major Domo. That guy just annoys the heck out of me. Some people say, you know, maybe using all these cameos of big names kind of detracts from the episode. Oh, that guy. Well, maybe he's a big name. He is a big name, but I don't know. It would have been cool to get more actors that you don't have a previous image of them.
Like Danny Trejo.
And so, no, that's what I mean. Like that doesn't really work. But whatever. This comedian, whatever. I don't know. Major Domo. He doesn't do it for me. I don't know about you guys.
So you're gonna skip these shots because there was one in there that I thought was really cool, and I haven't heard anybody say it, but was that
the driving one?
No, right before when he locked the door and they go to the door. Was that Han's blaster that?
Yeah.
That Fennec had?
Yeah, it looked like a DL-44,
right?
Yeah, I remember looking at it going, that looks like a DL-44, her sidearm.
And I didn't see anybody mention that. I was like, dude, that's a kind of cool. I know it's just a type, like you're saying DL-44, but that's to say that's Han's blaster. Like that was cool.
To use that specific blaster, like, is there a meaning behind it? Is there something going on?
Right. It
at
was
this timeline.
No, I mean, I don't think so. Just they're ubiquitous blasters, just like you see the SR-14 pistols that all the remnant troopers had, that everybody seemed to have. I think the DL-44, I mean, there's a version of it that looks the same. It's like called the Merson Power 5 that all the Imperial officers sort of carried. It looked like a DL-44. It might just be a coincidence, just because these. I mean, not everybody has a personalized blaster. So. But it does stand out though, especially when you see a named character carry a sidearm. That is that you kind of go, oh, she's got DL-44. Okay.
And they zoomed in. They didn't leave her just standing. They directly the shot cut to it. She moves it to the side, and I was like, ooh. But I haven't heard anybody mention that yet.
All right, so back to the chase scene, which is essentially the same one. This is the gang because it's the slowest bike scene. He's like, "Get the bikes." It's the same pacing.
Man, Kev, tell us how you really feel.
That's the Major Domo. George is the. All right, I'm going to remove that before some sort of copyright comes down. But that's what I've been laughing at all week. The seniors bike chase. Yoko said it was like Mario Kart. Was it Yoko or Paul that said it was Mario Kart? And then someone said it was real. Yoko said it was Mario Kart. Paul said like really, really slow Mario Kart. And Yoko's like 50cc, man.
Yeah.
And I just saw Back to the Future too. That's all it was.
There's
with it all.
A lot of creatures that they throw into the bike chasing, but it's so slow. I don't know, but did it even throw them off? Wait, a lot of screenshots missed. What's going on? Oh, well, I guess webcam has a robot drill foot, and the prep guy has a laser arm. And of course, the classic movie trope when you're on a bike chase scene. Was it Wayne's World? And they walk back and forth with this pane of glass.
Yes.
In the middle of the streets.
Yeah.
But they have this painting that some people are moving across the street, just so happen to be. Prep school guy flies right through it, and Ernie sent me this picture. I hope this is the right one. Ernie, why don't you explain to the people since you sent this?
So the last one, Filoni's bit in when he does it all, and John is I'm sorry, that's Paul Friends, John, Mr. Favreau and Mr. Filoni.
Yeah, you guys are not
Um,
first name, last
they,
name.
I know,
Come on.
I apologize.
Jeez,
They
2 episodes
do a
already,
lot
the
of the
ego.
great Ralph McQuarrie's drawings of what he gave to George Lucas of all his concept art, and there's lots of great uses. We've had it in Rebels, like just all over these years. It's almost all been brought back into play, which is a beautiful thing. But so the last episode was where they made his gaffy stick. That was a drawing. And then in this one where they crashed through, this is another one of his for Jabba's palace. And the only one missing on the painting is Luke. But even Boba is standing there in the background in the painting. See him?
That's
so
very
see Luke.
cool.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny.
Luke is missing, but that's what this
It's
is.
very,
And
very quick.
yeah, it was very cool though, because that's kind of something they've always done. And then there's Biff. Now it shouldn't have been the Meilurons, dude. It should have been like Bantha Poodoo that he went in. If you're gonna go full on Back to the Future, then you should have had that.
I enjoyed the melee rounds though.
Paul, what did you think of this chase scene?
I was really, I don't know. It was slow. It was slow, and there's a certain level where it's just you kind of go, I don't know. Again, with the pacing, I was really surprised at the end when I saw that Robert Rodriguez had directed it, because I thought it just, the pace was all off, and it felt like it was a more of an inexperienced director at the helm of this. Now, I have read as well, because this is Rodriguez. He doesn't like working with the volume, and so this might be him adjusting to the limitations of a virtual set, and he's used to more practical things or whatnot. That's why the episode that he directed of Mandalorian was out on location in those cliffs, right? Like he's more of that. He's one of the big things Robert Rodriguez really prides himself on is the speed in which he moves. Because he knows everybody's job. He can do up to 75 setups a day. They move at a phenomenal pace. And that's why I was really surprised at how slow this chase sequence was. And I'm a fan of Rodriguez's work, but that was slow. That was paced so slowly. And I don't know if it was because he was in the volume. Was it because it's an underpowered speeder, and those are underpowered Vespa bikes that were chasing him, so it's gonna be that slow? I don't know, but it was just, I was bored through that chase because it did nothing really. There was no climax to it. There was no stakes to it whatsoever. It was just so close. It's so slow, and they went through every trope of every chase sequence, like the bewildered pedestrian going across, crashing through the pane of glass. The crazy crashes and being run off and stuff. There was nothing really that felt like there were any huge stakes involved in this, and so it was just a really flat, slow chase sequence, and I was surprised.
I think the reason they were given Vespas was that when I'm watching this, I'm like, they can't catch up to this buffoon driving. I'm supposed to believe he's some master car driver that can get through the whole marketplace, and he's supposed to be able to get away from them. Well, how do we make it so that the gang can't catch up to him? Oh, let's give them like Vespas, so it'll be a nice joy ride, and that'll be their handicap to catch up with him. Otherwise, they should be on him right away.
And that's what I was thinking. There's like the pace of that was dictated on the limitations of the technology, that the major domo, he can't drive really fast, so I'm sure the speeder could go way faster, but he's not skilled enough to make it go fast, and the Vespas are just limited to that speed, so you have that pace. So I don't know, it didn't seem as dynamic as I would have hoped.
And then he gives it up the information like right away.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm stuck here with these Meilurons. There's
like
I have no other choice.
like the assassins.
Yeah.
Like this guy's just like, hey, I have a jetpack. I'm here.
I would have
never used it till
preferred
now.
I would have preferred it if it was a foot chase and they were chasing him on foot.
I was just thinking that like Fennec chasing the ninjas was a lot faster, right? Than this.
So you know what sucks is I don't think, Paul, it was shot in the volume because I was sent pictures. They went
really?
for real for this, and I think that's what messed them up. That it should have been shot in the volumes, because there's now pictures out there that in the scene, when you really slow it down, and Kev, I'm sure you could catch this, like you said, you were slowing it down before, you can see all the wood sets. When he goes up top and he's on the roof of stuff, you can see the wood sets. You can see the
like
wood
behind the buildings.
Yes. So it was a real shot. But then what sucks even further with that was the Jedi bike scene, the speeder bike scene, was a lot better than this was. Like, that was kind of like classic here, right? So it's weird because I think they went for a real chase and real camera, and they were probably really rolling, and that may have messed it up, because you can see all the sets and everything.
But what the volume though is, you can put a physical set inside the volume. Like, I've seen that.
Okay.
So it's still possible that they built it inside the volume, because it really is. It's a virtual, it's a digital back.
I know what Kev's gonna say.
No, please continue, Paul. No, it's just the trope of Ernie saying something and then Paul going, "Yeah, well, from my experience on set, no." Also, my friend John Favreau said,
"I'm saying it's possible because fuck you guys."
No, I didn't say it. Kev said, he told me that
love
last
you, man.
time.
I love you all.
Right.
You're
He
the
goes,
best.
"You know what my favorite part is?
You're very right, though. It's possible."
When Paul shoots you down, and he just has to say, "Because John said so," and I'm like, "Yeah, you're right."
It's not because John says so. It's just a fact. Like, if I've worked on those sets,
he's seen it.
I've been there and I've seen what they do with it, and they have
It's just
practical
funny
sets in the middle.
Kev loves to pick on me, and he sends those message. You know what's great is when Paul always says that you're wrong, because he's there.
I'm not
and you're
saying you're
not.
wrong.
That one was
great.
on me. That was my bad.
That
I just
was.
went there in my own head. But
And you're right. I
definitely
don't.
props.
I don't know. That's just what I was told about something, was that's, look at, they kind of went here. Because, of course, Star Wars love, and then everybody does start asking you questions like, hey, how come this sucked, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, and I always tell them the same, it's Star Wars. Like, I love it. Is there bad stuff? Yeah. Could it have been done better? Yeah. But again, wait until you see it as a whole. Wait, go on. I mean, we're here breaking down every episode and like that. But there was definitely a problem with this chase scene. And it's
we all agree this guy sucks.
Yeah.
My thing is, they have the same, like, this alien species or this alien race. They have the same color all over, right? Because somebody mentioned before, it looks like a human dressed up in a Twi'lek costume. It's like his hands are just
Because
his
his
regular
hands don't
color.
match?
It looks like to his
Oh.
face makeup. I don't know if that's me being picky, if that's how the alien race is, but that's that guy. And he gives up the information real quick because Boba Fett has a jetpack. The whole chase scene was like, are they just going for something different, and just a lot of things missed in this episode? Maybe
Well, he
it
had
hit
his
the mark for
jetpack
somebody else.
And he had his jetpack and his Nerf gun. It was ready to go.
Somebody sent me this from Twitter, and it says, "I like the
Can't
part in
see
Star Wars where an ass was driving around." He's not wrong. That dude is
No.
an ass.
Right. That's
yeah.
so funny, dude.
Shout outs to Toy Farce for sending me this. Go check out Toy Farce on Instagram. But
That's hilarious.
that is a butt. All right.
Yeah.
We are at this point now, and I mentioned earlier it would, oh no, why is this not working? He would have a guest. I'm going to bring him on really soon. We're going to get right there because the next scene,
Sweet.
we're showing the spaceport. This giant ship comes in. Ernie's girlfriend from the last episode, that weasel-looking lady, it appears to be her walking through. She's not in a full bikini like last time. But you see the passengers deplane. Is that no, they're just exiting the ship. The Pikes, a whole gang of Pikes. And amongst them is a friend of the show, a fellow
So
toy
jealous.
collector. My friend from the ACBA podcast literally just finished his podcast right now to join us. I got a chance to hang out with him in California. He kidnapped us to go on a toy hunt. This is my friend Fabio. Fabster, what's going on?
Hello. Thank you for having me. Kidnapped? Is that the word I heard?
That's what I heard.
There it is.
I'd like to call it a little light trafficking of humans, but other than that, it was just a bunch of toy collectors having a good time after a con. But yeah, thank you for having me on. Yeah, man, this is dope.
Fabio, first of all, so cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Everyone. Yoko, Paul, Ernie, this is Fabio.
I know Yoko.
I met him in real life. Remember? I was there.
Yes.
I was there.
Yeah, you were at Decon too.
I did not get kidnapped though.
No, you were spared. I mean, you didn't have the pleasure.
And I know
Ernie,
Fabio.
Of course, I know from the Toy Migos. Paul, my first time talking to you, but hello. I'm familiar with your work
Fellow
as well.
thespian.
Right.
You could say that. Yeah, I remember when you were doing these streams were for Mandalorian, and then Paul started coming on there, and I was like, oh, it's from King's Convenience, and like I respect you as an actor, of course. And during that time, I actually happened to like start working on this, so just as again a fellow thespian, I'm like, yo, this is a man who is goals. I'm on that grind that I'm sure you were on at one point to get to where you're at. So relate to you a lot for sure. And it's just crazy to be part of this universe, honestly.
Yeah. Right on. Yeah. Thank you so much. And yeah, congratulations. Cause I know exactly how you feel about, being on a show. And it's just, I mean, for me, it's even being Canadian, it's even a bigger sort of stretch. Right. So I'd like, I know exactly what you speak of, and congratulations. And, hopefully more and more for you in the future.
Yes. Thank you so much. I mean, it's huge on a professional level, because this was the show that got me my last voucher for SAG eligibility. So
hey, congratulations.
Massive on that level. And nice. I've worked on a ton of shows before this, but as I was saying on the podcast before, like this is really the first one that has this huge audience, this huge appeal like this. There's your diehard people that have seen me in Perry Mason and like small things here and there, but like
diehard your fans or diehard Perry Mason fans?
Man, are there any diehard Perry Mason fans from
so
way back?
They're all
the
dead.
Inference is that there are your diehard fans,
right? But yes, it's one of those like wow, like everybody saw this and it's like crazy, like it's really out there now. Now I've been working behind the scenes, secretly, but anyone who didn't know that I've been doing this now knows, and it's crazy.
And I bet your phone blew up once the episode dropped, right?
Oh my god, I tried to stay up honestly to watch it, but I worked 2 days this week with like 4 a.m. wake up and like have to be there at 6 a.m. So my mind is already like, okay, I'm going to bed at 8 p.m. So I stayed up till like 11 the night before, thinking like, okay, I want to watch it, but I couldn't make it. But then I woke up the next morning. Yeah, it was nuts. I have not. The response has been insane, and like I'm just so appreciative because people just reaching out from all corners, and I don't know, man. It's overwhelming. It's amazing, really.
I know exactly how you feel. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So cool, man.
But the episode was good, right? You guys talked about Boba's weird toe, right?
Oh yeah. Got real close to the Boba feet.
Amongst other things.
There's some other screenshots.
I was in the scene, like I did crosses for the one where he's coming in on the Bantha and he talks to the two Jawas, but you didn't see me at all in that one. It was just like minor crosses. But I did get very up close with Mr. Morrison. Yeah, just seeing the makeup and everything, like everything behind the scenes. As I was saying before, it was like my favorite experience of any set that I've worked on, because it was such a perfect blend of like people who love this industry, people who love this franchise, just huge nerds for every aspect of the production, and just all coming together in a super like productive, positive atmosphere. And he's just on this giant bantha on like a dolly track, and there's one dude whose entire job it is to spray the eyes between takes to make sure they look nice and moist. It's
like a
nuts.
bantha.
I could do that.
And I don't know if you guys have
I'm the
noticed
eyes
this,
moistener.
Yeah, I could do that.
Uh,
That's Austin.
Fabio.
Fabio, man, congratulations. I'm so jealous. That was awesome, dude. That was great. Yeah, I mean, to be in the Fett one, that was awesome. And I saw everybody's post and I was like, dude, I can't believe it. That's I'm so jealous, but I'm so happy for you at the same time. That's cool.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Ernie. It's a huge franchise. Like I guess I didn't realize. I've always ironically said like I'm not really a Star Wars fan, but of course I grew up with this stuff. These are like, you know, everyone from at least my generation, 1993. My first Star Wars movie, in fact, was Episode 1. I saw it when I was 6 years old. Before I moved from Venezuela to Texas, one final hurrah with my father was seeing The Phantom Menace, and it was like this surreal experience, obviously at that point. But it wasn't until, to give you my interesting relationship with Star Wars, I think it was like 3rd grade. I was in a Scholastic book fair in elementary school. Very specific reference. But I bought one of those like DK, like encyclopedia of Star Wars books. They had them for Marvel. They had them for a few others.
Yeah.
But I bought the Star Wars one and I'm reading through it. And there's a picture of Obi-Wan and Darth Vader fighting on the Death Star, their duel. And the caption is like, Obi-Wan confronts his former pupil at the Death Star. And I'm like, I hadn't seen the other movie. I hadn't seen the original trilogy. And I'm like, excuse me, former pupil? Obi-Wan? Guys, come here. I found something. I think Darth Vader is Anakin. Guys, come here.
Oh, wow.
And then, of course,
man, you just spoiled it for
stepfather at the
everyone in the
time was
chat.
like, all right, kid, come here. Let me show you something.
Right.
Spoilers,
That's
man.
awesome.
For sure.
That's awesome.
I feel like I spoiled it for all my classmates. But I mean, yeah, to have that memory and then it's nuts. My stepfather called me crying. Like it's nuts. It's cute.
That's awesome.
For
It's
sure,
weird
man.
having real human emotions, I'll be honest.
For a robot. All of your displays, not all of your displays, we can see part of your displays and collections in the background. Why don't you let everyone here know, everyone in the chat, other than Star Wars, what you're into collecting, because we're talking about toys here at the same time. Big collector right in the square above me, squares below. Let us all know what you're into.
Well, anyone who kind of knows me from Instagram and here on YouTube as well, I'm just a big Mezco collector, probably one of the biggest. A few years ago, I mean, I was a big NECA collector too, and I really grew up with like Marvel Legends. So when Marvel Legends came back, I was huge on the return of Marvel Legends, and I got back into that like second Hasbro era. And then at some point, like Mezco came along, and they at first were my like DC line because I hadn't picked up any really like DC Universe Classics. I didn't have like a flagship DC line. So I started picking up the Mezco, starting with Dark Knight Returns Batman. And then, I don't know, somewhere along the line, I just became more of a fan of their format and what they do as far as hyper-articulated bodies and the soft goods and kind of the stylization, kind of the designer toy feel to them, not necessarily one-to-one from the comic translations into their format, but more that making it their own to work in the style. And I don't know, somewhere along the line that just became my main focus. I basically sold off my childhood collection of Marvel Legends plus everything that I had picked up when I returned to them, plus a ton of stuff that I had, and just hyper focused on Mezco from this point. And not even just Mezco, but more the format of the 112 soft goods kind of mini Hot Toys feel. Mezco happened to be the best ones doing it, and so many other companies have like come along since doing the third party, unlicensed soft goods thing. But a lot of companies have come along since, and it's a lot of other, the bigger companies have started incorporating a lot more and more soft goods. So I think I kind of saw the writing on the wall as far as like, oh, soft goods seem to be the way this whole kind of trend seems to be going. I want to go with that. And that's where I'm at now. I'm basically just talking about that on my channel most of the time.
Cool, man. There's like 5 seconds left of the episode, so we're going to cover that real quick, and then I think Paul might need to go real quick, but we're going to cover this. Okay, yeah, so Eyeball or Webcam reports back. He's like, hey, the Pikes are coming, and he tells Boba Fett, he tells a dad joke, and then looks to Fennec to see if the joke landed. Got no laughs, and then he's like, hey, my bad. And Webcam's like, hey, I paid a lot of money. Don't worry about it. It's cool. But I still have to steal water. And they both realize that war is coming. But the Fets. Just told you earlier. Paul, can I get your thoughts on this one real quick before you got to bounce?
Yeah, I know. I mean, what an ending, right? It's like it was telegraphed from miles away that this was eventually going to happen. I'm curious to see what more Boba Fett's going to do to consolidate his power base. He needs more muscle, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to see. I mean, they've already hinted towards it as well. Like, there's going to be a big in the previews. There's a meeting with the Transoceans, with the Aqualish, with everybody there. But I think there's only 7 episodes, so we only got 4 left. So my guess is from this point on, it's really going to pick up steam, and we're going to see a lot of action moving forward, a lot of movement. So I'm excited for the next few weeks.
Awesome. Thank you for hopping on, man. I know you're out west working, so I appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with us and
Anytime.
talking Star Wars.
Anytime.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2 Star Wars actors on the stream. Just saying.
Well, big distinction there, but someday.
Technically correct.
That's kind of correct. I'll give you that.
All right. Take it easy,
Paul,
everyone. Thank you so much. Have a
See you,
great
Paul.
night.
Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you too, Fab. Bye.
Bye, Paul.
Check out Paul's unboxing on Sunday. Yoko, did you?
Yes.
You have something to bring up?
Oh, well, I wanted to ask, mostly Ernie, I guess, at this point. So was it last episode? With the first episode? I can't remember anymore. When everyone was like, why didn't Boba Fett use his jetpack to get out of the little ninja circle?
Yeah,
And I saw someone say it was because he didn't have his helmet, and he has to be wearing his helmet to be able to operate his jetpack. And
you said that last week.
Huh?
I think you brought that up last week, I think.
No, I mentioned that in the chat yesterday.
Oh, see, it's all blurring
It's all
together.
combined together.
But I think
that it
someone
kinda
said it
controls
in the chat last week, and I meant to bring it to the attention because I was curious about it. I don't know if that's legit or not, but I wanted to.
Is that factually correct?
As far as now, I don't think so, because if you look at this fight that just happened, he went for his arm rocket to put it on and to just shoot it out. So it's not like it controls everything. I think the rangefinder controls it and like turns it on, but I don't know if it was to blast him out of there, if it would.
Or targeting.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's a good one. You do see that. I saw another shot too. You can see the red light, like it's on too, when he has it on the helmet with it. So I
Nice.
guess, yeah, when he turns around, there's a red dot, like if it's on, the light on top.
My mind just went crazy right now. All the Star Wars talk. I was like, what creature is on Yoko? Because I just saw it moving. And then I was like, oh,
It's a
right,
little cat.
cat.
I've
It's
got
a
a
little
little
cat.
cat.
It's just a
Yeah.
little
It's
tabby.
cat
It's all
right
good.
there.
It's a regular cat, Kevin. Welcome back to reality, you idiot.
I'll look up standards and canon for now for you, Yoko, and then I'll let you know next week.
I was
What
wondering,
the
I'm like,
hell is that thing?
if that's the defense they can use to explain why he didn't
Yeah.
use it in that
Yeah.
scene, I feel like they should go with it.
Yeah, that sounds great. I mean,
Defensible.
I'll
in
check it
court.
out. Right.
I will allow it. Courtney says
Yeah.
maybe it's similar to the Rocketeer. He needs it for flight control.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
maybe it's like Iron Man's gauntlets that he needs to kind of stabilize himself in flight.
to go. Right. Yeah. I'll
Well,
definitely
dude, man.
look that up though.
You're catching up. What are your thoughts on the beginning parts of this episode, Fabio? I know the end of it, you're hugely biased, so I know how you feel about that. But what about everything that's going on?
Overall,
And-
I
and
like
just-
the show. Maybe it's because I came off of watching the entire Sopranos in like a 2-month span a few months ago, but I'm like
Mhm.
really into the mob stuff right now.
So it's all
I-
working for you.
Yeah, I like the seedy
Yeah.
underworld stuff. I like the tributes. I like, okay, it's a different kind of flavor, different part of the Star Wars world we haven't seen before. So that's working for me for sure. But I do see some of the criticisms too, as far as the mod scooter people being a little out of place. I personally I liked them. I thought they were kind of cool, and I thought it was great how consistent it was with like kind of that 80s production design, because this is kind of post Return of the Jedi, right? So the main girl with the robotic arm has that kind of like Joan Jett haircut and the leather jacket. So like all that kind of 80s stuff is working for me. So I didn't mind it really, but there's no question it's out of place because I think that's the intention. These are kind of the I don't know, the troubled youth of Mos Espa, and they contrast they're kind of this rebellious group that contrast so much with like the surroundings of it in terms of their bright colors.
Did you have any zippers on your costume?
Any what?
Zippers.
Zippers.
Did you have zippers?
No, I had a lot of pouches, like a lot of pockets.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel kind of bad now.
Huh.
Well,
Why?
I feel kind of bad now. All the people into that mod culture who may also be Star Wars fans, and now they're like, oh, they're doing the Leo meme pointing at the screen when it comes out, and then they go on the internet and everyone's poo-pooing it. It's just like, that they probably had a really cool moment when they saw it, and now the internet's like, this has no place on Mos Espa.
I mean, they've
feel like
shown
a
Mos
jerk.
Espa to be a very diverse place. Like there's all kinds of people all over the place. So they're not entirely out of place either.
Has this changed you, Fabio? Are you buying more Star Wars stuff?
Oh hell no. Oh hell no. I'll buy them all. I couldn't. That'll be the next time I sell everything and buy a whole new collection. No.
The next reset?
Right.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't know. It's just I'm too much of a completist, to dive into one thing without the intention of finishing it. So unless I can get these screen accurate displays, if there's 4 scout troopers in a scene, I got to have them with their bikes, like otherwise there's no point. I would just go too deep with it. And at this point, it's like it's too long. Like it's hard to jump in on a Black Series line. And I was there when it started, and I was like, oh man, if I was going to jump into a Star Wars collection, now would be the time, but I just couldn't do it. It's too much, man. It's a vast universe. I'm happy for Black Series collectors though, for sure, because there's just so much for you to build a universe with. They've really done a good job with that line. Even if I don't collect it, I can recognize it's one of the better lines out there for sure.
As a toy collector now, you must be like, man, here's my chance to be an action figure with a gang of if they do pikes. I would be really happy for you if that were to happen. I don't know if it's weird to buy an action figure of somebody that you know. I guess I'd buy one of Carson Teva. I think I'll buy one of
Right.
Honestly,
when walking with them, or you're just walking out at the same time in front of them.
I'm walking out in front of them kind of at the same time, and I didn't realize like how wide when we were shooting this. I didn't realize how wide of an angle this was going to be, because I was trying to shoot for them just kind of seeing. They wanted you to kind of seem like you were closing in on the camera. They wanted us close to it specifically, so I thought it was going to catch my shoulder or something at most.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was a really wide angle. That's even cropping like the 2/3 of it you have right here. This is like a complete frame. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a huge angle.
How lucky and what an awesome scene to be a part of, because I see you everywhere, because this was a pivotal point of exactly like what Kev's showing. So the pikes show up and it's always, there's Fabio right there.
Right? Yeah.
You're like in everybody's stream, everybody's breakdown, everybody's everything, because you're such a pivotal shot right there, which is awesome.
I'm happy for the coverage for sure, but I really don't want people to think like, oh, he must be the leader or something. That is not what's happening here.
Wait, you're not?
No, they just they caught me.
That's the show for tonight, everyone.
You're not Kira's boyfriend? Wow.
I'm not.
You were.
I mean, I might. Some of the comments I've gotten on like the walk that I did here, which was just a walk, I guess I thought at the time, but
it was a strut.
Dude, they called it the coldest stroll ever seen by another man. Like,
it was that I'm in Star Wars.
Because they just saw Black Chrysanthemum run off, and then like anything looks more powerful after that.
Right.
He does just kind of saunter off there, doesn't he?
Somebody needs to
call it a saunter.
Right. Somebody needs to shoot an edit though with you walking with the Beachies in the background. That would go perfect too. Yeah, we really need that.
I mean, the real acting I was doing here was pretending that I wasn't destroyed by my second COVID dose the day before.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And I didn't even have a right to complain. Like, I was in this hot burlap suit. We were outdoors. It looks a lot dimmer than it really was. It was actually very bright, very sunny. So I have no right to complain because we're inside of like the top of the ramp right there, waiting for them to call action, and all the pikes are there with their helmets and all that, and they're dying underneath those things, like truly, like way worse off than me. So I really have no right to complain.
Yeah.
More than anything, it was just
like
being made worse by the second vax. But I was trying to keep to myself or whatever. And one girl that I had made friends with on a couple of the other days was like, "Yo, are you okay? Like, you should go see the set medic or whatever." And I ended up, swallowing my pride and going ahead and doing that. And I told him that I had my second vax dose the day before, and he's like, "Oh man, I got you." He gave me 2 Advil, literally 2 Advil. Water. Lunch was called 30 minutes later. I ate. I was good for the rest of the day, dude. Like 100%.
Wow.
Like, and I had it at around 3 p.m. the day before, so like pretty much 24 hours. I was like kind of racked by it or feeling the effects of it, and then after that, just like perfect rest of the day.
Sweet, man. It's as a fellow collector and friend, super happy for you, super happy to see this. I didn't even catch it at first, I'm not gonna lie. It was the Discord that was like, is that Fabio's twin? And that last scene with the pikes, I'm like, what the hell are you guys
it's my evil
talking about?
twin because of the goatee, which I only have again this week as a work earlier this week, but normally I'm clean shaven. Evil twin, mirror universe, even though that's a Star Trek reference on a Star Wars show. The evil twin has the goatee.
That's cool because I didn't get the reference.
Yeah, I don't know Star Trek.
Yeah, what is that? What are those words?
I'll be honest, I lean a little more Star Trek heavy. That's why I'm glad Mezco did them.
You're a Trekker?
I'm a bit of a Trek
Man.
for sure.
Get off my
It's all
land.
good.
You just
You
don't have no
can't
Star
say
Wars
that
stuff
now.
because
You're in a Star
Mezco
War.
doesn't have right. Mezco doesn't have the license to Star Wars, so it's the only reason why.
Oh, I'd be ruined if they did, dude. Are you
Right.
kidding me? Soft goods, Star Wars, I would be like so done.
Right.
Well, production stuff and Star Wars in general, very secretive. What can you say? You said something about your experience on set. Anything more you can or want to share with us? I'm not gonna prod, but anything else you want to share? Obviously, it's very.
Like, I'm curious,
interesting.
how many days of shooting did you
Yoko's
do?
just
That
going for
something
it.
you can share? That doesn't seem.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
like almost 2 months, but like days, like several days per week of those 2 months. But over the course of 2 months, it's really like, 2 days 1 week, 3 days the next week, 1 day, depending on what they were shooting. But over the course of 2 months, I just basically had to stay available and kind of maintain this look because with COVID kind of at the time, things were getting shifted around a lot. So I just had to basically stay available during that whole time. But yeah, I only worked during those 2 months, but the whole production went on for like way longer than that.
So you were involved in a few different scenes then, right? Or at least
yeah,
yeah.
there'll be more. That's one thing I can't say. Just keep watching the show. I should be in a few more things in a different outfit as well. And I'm actually, without saying what the outfit is, I'll say I'm very excited. It was a way better outfit than this one. It's fucking fire. Like,
He's wearing that Weasel Lady's bikini.
Well, no, even better. I mean, it's crazy that they use your body for the Han Solo cameo that's going to come in, and they just put the de-aging over your face because you were the right height and everything. So that is awesome, Fabster. That you're basically Han Solo, which
dude. And Ernie spoken like a true industry insider because all you have to do is have the same height.
Yep. I'm right there, man. Well, you let me know when you need some help over there, and I can bring you water, sandwiches.
Okay.
Whatever you need. Yeah. I got it down to a science. If they need a stunt double for Boba Fett and his chonies, I'm all in, dude. I'm ready to go. Yeah. You let me know. I'm ready to go. You need me to carry your bags on the set, whatever it may be, fan you. I'm right there. Give me a call.
I know the job for you because, like I was saying, when we were up up the top of the ramp there, all the pikes were there. getting their masks adjusted, and there's like some lights on their costumes and stuff that people have to like come through and turn on for them. And there's one person who comes through with a fan to make sure that all the pikes under their masks are nicely ventilated. Just a nice 3-second fanning on each person. So
that's me all day.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, but I get busted like Jeans Guy because you'd see me up on the ramp poking my head out.
There was
the fan and everything.
Funny. There was so much talk of Jeans Guy on this set because it wasn't
Really?
too long after that. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was like, all right, make sure we don't want any Jeans Guy thing going on.
That would be so.
Oh, that's
I would be
awesome.
so busted. Seeing like this, I couldn't do your scene either because I would look directly at the camera. I'd just be all too happy. Ernie, we told you before you
You'd be all
can't
like-
look at the camera. Yeah, for real. Sorry, it's just habit. Yeah. Take 57. Oh, yeah. Then that's
think
when I
it's
get
funny
handed
that-
the fan. Here you go. Can you
Funny
just
that
fan
Jeans
everybody?
guy made it as a joke on set.
Yeah.
It's a thing. I don't know if I was the first to do it, but there was one production what are they called, assistant director kind of around us in charge of our section because everyone had to be like divided by COVID sectors too. It was crazy. So our sector had one assistant director specifically assigned to us, and he was making he was a little jokey. He was telling us stories like not even stories. He was giving us like trivia the whole time. It was really funny. Like between takes, he'd be like, "Oh, who played this person in that movie?" Like, shit like
That's
that.
awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun atmosphere.
Yeah.
But he was making he had made a reference to the Jeans Guy, and I was like, "Yo, have you seen the action figure of Jeans Guy?" And I got to show him the meme of like someone who made a Kenner style Jeans Guy figure
Yeah,
with like half of the wall covering him and everything.
I 3D printed one.
Oh yeah,
You
I don't
did.
know where I put it.
Yeah, he did. I remember that.
Do they know Jeans guy? Is he
I
still
don't know.
working? Is
No,
he
no.
associated with?
I truly have no idea about that.
I think he's
That'd
now
be
coffee guy. I think whenever, he's just now coffee guy. It may
Oh
be the
no,
one just
he's
holding
fan
the fan.
guy actually. So he
That's what I was
didn't-
gonna say. He's the one
held
holding the
upwards
fan
a little
now.
bit.
Yeah.
When you said coffee guy, I thought you meant the one who brings coffees. I'm like, is he the one from Game of Thrones? Who left the coffee cup?
Who left the
In that
Starbucks
shot.
on there?
On that note, though, this episode did have a bit of a Jeans Guy moment. I think it was pointed out in the Discord as well. It was one of literally the shot actually after my shot right here was that overhead of him going around the corner, and you can see the wooden slats on the back of one of the walls.
Oh yeah, Ernie brought that up earlier
Okay.
about the buildings
Yeah.
when he goes to
Didn't
the
notice.
payphone.
The payphone, the
The
pay hauler phone, yeah.
No, and it was
Yeah,
also
it's
seen
a-
in the race too. During the race, you could see some of them.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's a lot.
Another kind of favorite thing I noticed while I was there too was all the, like for example, in the scene with the Jawas, they're like kind of working on some stuff, like fixing something when Boba Fett comes and talks to them. That whole kind of street that he's walking through is like littered with stuff like that on the ground. And it just reminds me of like all the Star Wars toy photographers who like 3D print just those random things on the ground, and how like
Yeah.
my mind went backwards as far as like, oh, these are 1:1 scales of those 3D prints I'd see in those Star Wars photos. But like
It's awesome.
as far as the Star Wars fan base, like, yo, they notice all those details, and the third party market has and like the artist market has really made that available for people. It's nuts.
Did you go be like, hey, you can do this shot tangibly? You don't need this. Have you heard of the glass trick? Get a
Little
sheet of
bit.
glass and stick this on. And they're like, who is this guy? Oh, I walk in front of the pikes at the end there.
Dude, but sometimes it's that like old school, like as stupid simple as possible is what gets it done the best, is usually the thing. Like I don't know if it was in this episode, so I won't mention it, but if it ever is, I will.
I noticed this too. There are a lot of big boned Jawas this season. I thought one of them was a little bit chesty for a Jawa that I've ever seen.
I think they were both.
But they're-
I think they were both female, from what I remember.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, they were both ladies. Yeah,
I didn't notice
Ernie
that.
sounded very interested. He leaned forward in his chair. He was
they were
like,
both
"Really?
ladies in the Jawa
I'm all.
costume.
Let me look right now. Let me. See.
Oh, really?"
No, because
ChestyJawas.com.
that is as me catching everything. Like I didn't notice the Jawas were.
I don't know
a
if
bit
they're
off.
supposed to have,
Well,
that
not really, but like
distinction, but as far as who was under the suit, yeah, I talked to them. They were just a couple ladies.
Yeah, that's cool.
Actually, one of my favorite things too. Like, there's so much, but stuff that was in this episode too. You notice the shot when they have the stormtrooper helmets on the pikes, right?
Mhm.
On the spikes. And then there's Amy Sedaris's character walking in the background right after that, right?
Right.
So I was there, and she was sitting in our area, which is a little unusual because you would think like the principals kind of sit in their own area, but she was
Is
there.
it actually her?
I was like freaking out. I'm like, yo, that's Amy Sedaris. That's Princess Carolyn. Like, I would be remiss not to say something, right? At least praise her on the Princess Carolyn because I love her in that. In BoJack Horseman, was not her. It was a photo kind of like stunt double situation.
Oh,
yeah, it was not her. And I had, this is where my observation skills served me because I sat there and listened to her kind of talking to somebody else for a minute, and then she introduced herself, and it was not as Amy Sedaris. So I was like, oof, almost just avoided another Chris Klein situation that I've gotten myself in.
Oh no.
I thought you were gonna say like you were walking up and then you see it's not her and you do the turnaround.
Oof.
Oh.
Well, the reason I didn't make that mistake now is because I've made that in the past. I've learned. It happens like to me all the time. It's embarrassing, honestly.
Yeah, that'd
You
be
just gotta
crazy
go
if
with
they
it.
brought her in for this.
But Kevin, you were saying earlier, like, would it be weird to have, an action figure of somebody like know or whatever? I remember when I worked on this FX show with John Bernthal, and before that, like literally the first job that I ever did doing background was Ford versus Ferrari. It was like massive, huge production in like like an actual like auto speedway for like NASCAR or whatever out here in Southern California. And John Bernthal was there and like just talking to everybody. He was super jovial. Like whoever he was like set up with, he would sit there and like chat with them. He was super, super nice. So when I was with him on this set, he sat down next to me and I looked up. I'm like, oh my God, the Punisher is like right here next to me. So I just as a way of small talk during some downtime, I'm like, hey, I was on Ford vs Ferrari, crazy weather during those days. Wow, small talk stuff. But the whole time I'm thinking like, yo, I literally just bought this guy's Mezco figure like 2 weeks ago. This is so weird.
Why didn't you mention that?
Wait. I have an important question about John Bernthal. Did you shake his hand?
I think I did at the end, yeah. Because this is pre-COVID.
I've shaken his hand, and I have said this. I've shook his hand.
I have shook.
I know, shook
his hand.
hand.
I have shaken his hand.
Anyway, it was the worst handshake I've ever experienced in my life, and that's why I'm asking this question.
Oh, no.
It was
How
the tickle thing?
It
Now
was
you got to get into it.
Super like limp, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
Shane, the Punisher, this guy has a weak ass handshake. I am not okay with that. Like it was and it wasn't just me because there was somebody else with me and they shook his hand and they said the same thing. And I was just like this has been years now. And it's like, I still see, they've heard me tell the story before.
Wow. This is a running meme.
Right. It's like Yoko wants to sock him. So after I hit him just to see if he was worth anything.
He was very nice. But the handshake, I cannot get out of my head. It was terrible.
Wow.
Did it ruin Punisher for you?
A little bit, I'm like, this guy's
You telling me this guy's out here murdering criminals with that handshake?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. He's so soft.
I just see Yoko on a sofa watching, and then he's killing people. It's like, I can't do that. Can't even shake hands.
Can't even shake.
Just
turns off the TV,
Right.
cancels Netflix.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they didn't continue with the Netflix shows. They're like, we want to sign you to another deal, but they can't shake.
But you can't shake, yeah. Like this, they said we can't say let's shake on it.
Yeah.
But,
No. I don't remember
Right.
feeling any way about it. I remember just like, okay, yeah, cool. It was just very like, I don't know, normal, I guess. Not like a strong, like not that I even like press that hard. I don't know. It's weird.
You should just start rating handshakes as they're taking place. Hey man, nice to meet you. I'm Kevin. Hey, nice to meet you. And you're like,
Trust
5.
me.
Yeah.
You just rate it
If
right to
I'm
the face
in your
5.
life, you better come at me with a solid handshake. That's all I'm saying, or you'll be judged forever.
Right. I guess in a moment like that, I'm judging my own handshake a little more. So I'm like making sure not to press too hard, making sure not to do like the presidential like hand over the hand kind of thing.
Whoa.
Or the Bill Clinton hand on the elbow kind of thing as you're shaking, which is a real thing that people who study handshakes know about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to, keep it just super simple, but I was probably too in my head to notice really his handshake. If anything, it might have even been a fist bump. Who knows? This was so long. The show came out like almost 3 years after I shot it. It's crazy how much COVID delayed everything.
Yeah.
You also have to be focusing the configuration of the hand as it goes in. Is it a fist bump? Is it one of these? Bring it in. Right?
Yeah.
Because once that
Right.
hand goes like that, I'm shouting 0. That's how I'm rating that handshake in person.
Dude,
Bro, you're not a,
What was that last one?
yeah.
No, you just
I
miss.
don't know.
Like
He
one's
was
going
all
up and then
weird.
one's going
Yeah.
like this, and then
I'm
they just miss.
I'm with Kevin, dude.
Or-
I'm so awkward when it comes to handshakes sometimes. Like, literally yesterday at work, talking to someone, like, hey, what's up? Nice to meet you. He did not notice that I was going for a fist bump, and I tried to put it down, like, very quickly before he noticed. I swear to God, dude. And he
Did you
noticed
do
it.
the
And I'm like,
dive?
yeah,
Did
but
you
I
do
was
the-
hoping you wouldn't notice.
You die, Fabio? Whoa. Okay.
I'm the first to be like really awkward, but I'm also the first to like call myself out on it and just like laugh about it. It happens.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Sorry about
You're
that.
like,
I don't
hey,
know
man.
what happened.
No,
Oh, your
obviously,
mask
no,
is
I'm
falling.
It's okay.
Right. Yeah. On the way there, he's just all. What do you want to do? What do you? Oh, okay.
What about the
Dark Knight
Jim
says-
Carrey from I think Yes Man, where he's like, "Sir, how you doing?" and he just walks across the hall like this.
Yeah.
Fly Zone, have a good night.
Yo, thank you, Fly Zone. Appreciate you, man.
Yoko, did I give you a fist bump at Designer Con? Or was it a high five? Or did I just wave?
I don't remember.
Well, I think I
So-
didn't shake your hand, or else you would remember.
I think I got a hug.
Dude, if we meet up at Celebration, Yoko, I'm going to be so nervous now. I swear to God, I'm going to do stretches. I'm just going to be like, oh, I see her coming. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh.
Get one of these
Get a
in, the
squeeze- yeah,
rotation.
get a squeeze ball, everything.
You got your AirPods in. Somebody's talking.
He's
to
going to
you.
be working on it. What's that hand grip
Yeah.
thing? You
Yeah.
know, the one that's just the 2 handles?
Yeah.
Yeah. Squeezing the heck out of it. She's almost here. Oh, my God.
But you don't want to ignore some good forearm rolls. You know, you get like,
Yeah.
like a weight
Yeah.
at the bottom of some
You
rope
get it.
with a nice like
Yeah.
Just
dowel
get a
right
towel
here.
or some rope.
Right,
Exactly.
I'm gonna
You get
have
that
to.
some nice supination up in the forearms. You know, make
Right.
yourself nice and vascular.
And I'm going to go straight for right hand, and she's going to know and laugh and throw it off and go left hand.
Like, get that out of here.
Yeah. It's already going to suck. Yeah.
She's going to be going in for the handshake to you. He's like, don't fuck up, Ernie. Don't fuck
Yeah.
up.
You see it? She's going to sock it out of my hand. Knuckles, just boom.
You realize
guy
your
can't
handshakes
even
have to
read.
be epic now. Like these
Yeah.
handshakes
Yeah.
cannot fail.
No, at all. It's
You
gonna
shouldn't have
pace
said
the
anything.
whole moment, right?
Set the
Yeah.
bar way too high now.
Yeah. I'm going to try to get a message from Kevin. Hey, Ernie, we don't need you this week. Fuck, I knew it. It was Yoko. I didn't do the handshake. God.
She's like, get this guy off my stream.
yeah.
Get him out of here.
We don't need you. It's all right. Man. She said I sucked, huh? I didn't even go in full shake. Yeah. What
Do
happened?
you think Boba Fett gets no respect as a crime lord because he has a weak handshake?
Oh,
Wow. Yeah.
Bring it
Good
back.
point.
Saying.
fair
That's a
question.
good point. Yeah. We have to watch those scenes now. What is he gonna do?
I do want to address Skyrider's comment about some guys will shake a gal's hand differently, because I was with my coworker at the time who is a dude, and he also had the same weak handshake experience as me. So I don't think it was a
That's fair.
moral thing.
Okay.
I think it's just that he has a weak handshake thing.
Yeah.
There is a different
Maybe it's
amount
like
of tension applied.
maybe it's like code switching, where depending on the situation, you kind of have different like body language or the way you talk, depending on who you're with.
Were you doing one of those like, "Hello, enchanté," and then he took your hand that way, and then it wasn't a good handshake?
No, definitely not.
No, she was full all in. Just it was there.
No, yeah, I think she's pretty confident about the way she
Right.
had her handshake. Yeah.
It was a professional setting. I was, in
Talked about this
professional mode.
multiple times. Yeah.
Okay. Damn. That would stick
He's
with
in the
me.
washroom.
Too, though. Like, to be fair, that would stick with me too. But
But Skyrider, that's a good question, because I thought the same thing. So I remember specifically turning to my coworker afterwards and being like, "Okay, was that just me, or was that a terrible handshake?" And he was like, "Dude, it was totally a terrible handshake."
That
So
sucks
it's a
because
fair
you could not,
question.
You
But-
couldn't stop staring at him the rest of the night. Dude, you suck.
Yeah.
Just on and on. That's
He's
hilarious.
just in the washroom afterwards, looking in the mirror. He's like, John, handshake was horrible. Snap out of it. You're the Punisher.
What's so funny is it's going to stick with all of us. Like Fabio's going to show up on the next set, and he's going to see a handshake coming at him, and this is all going to just flash in his head. Oh shit! What do I do?
All the other anxiety
every
already.
time.
Right. Yeah. Right.
All right, that was a 8-minute bit on handshakes,
Man,
ladies and
Hey.
gentlemen.
I love it.
Yeah.
A lot
It's
of good
lost art
information.
form.
Great question, Yoko.
What was the question? Oh, about his handshake?
Yeah.
Somewhere
about
out
meeting
there,
him.
John is telling his friends about that one,
Yeah.
that one chick with the too strong handshake.
It was great because you saw it in your face and everything. Fabio was just talking about this scene and me and somebody blah blah blah. Who? Like you heard Yoko, she was sad. Who'd you say again? It was him, right? So what happened? Did he shake you? Did he hug you? What happened?
I had to
That
know.
got me crying. Honestly.
She knew.
It was same reaction as Ernie when he was like, "What? Chesty Jawas? A word?"
I'm just saying, dude. I didn't notice anything weird about the Jawas. When I'm trying to notice,
I didn't say it was
everything,
weird. You don't have to get weird.
I didn't.
This got
I
weird.
didn't know what was going on. It did get weird. Yeah, you got to delete all of that. No,
No.
I was adjusting my chair.
I love nothing more than taking a really like stupid idea to its logical end.
That was
Let the
great.
joke die on its own.
Did you take any sand with you from set or anything? Like, did you put some in your pocket or?
No, I
Pocket
didn't.
sand.
I was a professional, 100%.
Man, nope.
Um,
That fan I was fanning everybody with, I take it home.
dude, like I don't even think like I was even like that souvenir like crazy. Like they gave us wristbands for like COVID check-in every day, and I kept those because they were all a different color. So those are
That you
some-
kept?
Yeah, because that's
What was
the
the-
one piece of Star Wars memorabilia not everyone can have.
What was the code? Can you say the code name? What was the code name?
I'd
I
rather
can't
not.
remember it.
I'd rather
Okay.
not.
All right.
Come on, Ernie. Be a professional.
I
I
know.
I don't know.
2
it's
episodes
okay.
in, and you think you can just ask
You're right.
celebrities to reveal secrets?
I'm sorry.
I'll say I
You're
was
right.
like really surprised by like how
You're right.
like it was shot like literally where I grew up. Like it's kind of nuts. It was like an area that I used to live in essentially, and my comic shop was like right down the street, and I was like, wow, it's literally just right here. Like I knew the studio was always here, but I didn't know it was all like this. Like damn.
Yeah.
Because when I was growing up in that area, Marvel owned those studios, and that's where they shot Iron Man 2. So when I was growing up in high school, I was like, oh yo, I'd like drive by, like, yo, they shot Iron Man 2 there, like the scenes with Justin Hammer and like the big hangar with
Yeah.
what is my board, like all that stuff with, in that campus. So yeah, I mean, to me, it was just like, wow, it's really just right here. I mean, only 15 minutes during the times that I worked, commuted there, away from where I live now, but still it's just like, wow, really just right here.
I'm gonna post our picture later in front of fat collectibles. Not
That's right.
I keep trying to say fat D's, but that's what Mike calls it. Fat collectibles. And be like, yo, I met a Star Wars guy. Got to hang out with them.
Right
Kinda
here.
flex.
One of many.
Or
There's
Instagram.
a lot of Star Warriors out there. I'm just one of many, a very small part, but excited nonetheless, just because, I mean, there was, to bring it back to toys, I mean, Gentle Giant was involved with like everybody there. Everybody, all of my fellow backgrounders all got scanned by Gentle Giant for, I think mainly like crowd shots and stuff. Like they pepper people into like the background of stuff with the 3D scan. The first
that's
time actually, even on Ford vs Ferrari, like my first thing I worked on, they 3D scanned everybody to like digitize us into a crowd. So quite a few things I've done, we get scanned for. It's just kind of like pretty common these days.
Nice,
Those
man.
gentle, those
Hopefully
gentle giant
it happens.
people.
They're pretty dope. I like those guys.
Mhm.
Usually it's this other company. It's like an independent company called literally just the 3D scan truck or something like that. I met them at what was it called? VR LA, which is a virtual reality convention here in Los Angeles. This must have been like 2018 or something. I was there working a booth for a friend of mine who developed a VR laser tag game. So I was there like refereeing and like kind of like hosting the booth and stuff. And, you know, I got to walk around and there's these dudes in this big 3D scan truck. So chatted with them, networking stuff. And then however many years later, maybe, like 2 years later now, it would have been like just walking in and being like, yo, are you Vlad? Are you this guy? Like, yo, I met you guys like this. It's LA is just such a weirdly small town for these very like niche things like this that I don't know. It's kind of crazy how it's all kind of come full circle. Just me doing my thing, like just doing toys, doing movies, and like somehow they've come together and it's wild.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What happened?
What?
You can't talk.
I got headphones. You guys go for a second and chat.
Oh,
Give me 2 seconds.
I'll bring it full circle.
Yeah, please do.
So if you remember, you got me San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Predator when we were all into NECA. So I've already thrown that up on eBay and put from the Star Wars character there. I have it at $1,000 right now. I'm hoping to get 5. I'll cut you in. I'll let you know how much we can get for it. I'm like, these touched his hand. That's so it says Star Wars Predator. If anybody's looking on eBay, it's #1 Star Wars seller. That's my name.
Yeah.
So
Tell him it was held by the leader of the Pikes or whatever.
the leader of the Pikes.
Not
Put in there Kira's boyfriend, and then you're fine.
Yeah.
That's cool. So was it crazy to see Darth Maul on set with robot legs? Was that just weird for you? I'm just kidding.
I mean, all of it was crazy. Just on a personal level too. Not, I'm only there for a very small piece of what's even happening in the episode. So having watched the whole episode, no idea Danny Trejo was going to be on this one. And that's so cool for me specifically. I knew Robert Rodriguez was directing it, so I was already excited about that because growing up on Spy Kids, growing up on Desperado and Once Upon a Time Mexico and The Grindhouse and all that stuff. Love Robert Rodriguez. So I already knew that, but then I watched the episode. Danny Trejo's in it, which makes sense. And I'm like, yo, this is the second thing that I've been in an episode of that Danny Trejo is also in. So that was exciting for me. And then Stephen Root was at the beginning of this episode. You have no idea. Stephen Root is like Mount Rushmore of character actors for me, dude. He is
awesome.
So amazing. I mean, Bill Dodereeve aside from Family Guy, I mean, Office Space, Dodgeball, like he's the villain in Perry Mason, or like one of the villains in Perry Mason. And that was the other thing I worked a few episodes of with him in it. And I'm like, yo, that's Stephen Root. Like, so much going on in this episode that I'm just like, wow, I'm a very small piece of this whole thing.
You're in it, yeah.
So excited, dude. Like
but that's what I'm saying is so cool about your part is you're everywhere because of the pivotal scene. So like
I got the musical sting and everything, even though it was meant for the other guy, but whatever.
Yeah. It's awesome because everybody's talking about the Pikes and here's the Pikes coming off. And again, I'm like, there's Fabio. Like, wow, dang.
Aubrey,
like,
you stole that scene. You stole that shot from webcam. Nobody's sharing that. His friends and family are sharing his picture, but it's you in the background, and as a result.
And again, that pulled me away so much. That corny joke. That was I didn't know what happened. I don't feel like he said it on purpose. She was throwing it out there like, dude, he has one eye, and I was like, really? Here we go with the jokes again.
Keep your eye on it, and then he
winked. Because she said that at the end. Yeah.
Was that supposed to be a joke, or do you think he said it and then he was like, "Oh shit"?
I don't. I think he didn't mean it as a joke.
I don't think he meant to be funny.
No, at all. And she called it out like, "Dude, he has one eye."
Yeah.
Right. And then, but she says, "Okay, well, keep your eye on everything." And I was like, "All right, what just happened here?"
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Stephen Root and Barry.
Yeah, dude, Barry's so good. But yeah, he's in that. Dude, the guy's everywhere. Like it's wild.
So we might see you again, Pastor. That's what you were saying earlier.
Yeah, I have a different wardrobe. So there's definitely other stuff that is not shown yet.
Very cool.
And yeah, man, it's. I mean, I'm enjoying the show so far. Again, I like the mob stuff. I like the underworld stuff. But speaking of that scene, that was a little. As I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, they're just gonna let that sit, right? That's fine. We're not gonna follow up on it. Oh, okay. Well, didn't need that, but all right. I will say there's a right way and a wrong way to do that. I think it's fun. This felt a little more safe or a little more like on the nose. I was watching Peacemaker, which came out like yesterday. I watched all 3 episodes, and like, yo, that is some like stellar self-referential. Did you really just say that type of dialogue? So there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. And yeah, this felt a little plain, you know, just a little like, yeah, that's your brain says it before the actor says it, kind of thing, or before like the line comes on.
I feel like it's going to be a lot better too with all 7 out. Like if we all sat down and watched it all in one sitting and watch it, I think it's going to play out a lot better as well too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the weekly thing it can be tough in this day and age, because I feel like so much of today's stuff is written to be viewed in one sitting, you know?
Correct. Right.
Well, I'm looking forward to the rest of the series and wherever you may or may not turn up, Fabio.
Yeah.
Super, super happy for you, man.
Dude, thank you. I don't know, man. It's just been nuts. Like how many corners of this little weird world of ours it's touched, and like so many people have reached out, and just means so much, man. It's nuts. Thank you so much. I can't even express it. I don't have the words, but that's why I'm usually better at writing.
Did you meet any toy collectors on there? People who were like, that you even had a glimpse of maybe they would be into this kind of stuff?
No, I don't think so. I think most of my time there, the other kind of dudes I was hanging out with, one of them is like an actor, and you know that he's just into acting more than anything. He doesn't really have
the theater.
Yeah, you know. And then another dude that I met that was really cool. He worked a bunch on his name was Christopher. He worked a bunch on Saved by the Bell, on the Saved by the Bell reboot. He was like all like in the entire season. Really cool dude. But he's like a crazy TikTok following too. So he was telling me all about like TikTok and like how to get that popping and everything. And you know, just I don't know. LA is weird. It's hard to like make friends, honestly, outside of like we're working. So we're talking about work stuff a lot of the time. It's all networking. Like it's hard to really, I don't know, break outside of that a lot of the time. And that's just, you know, being honest. So I don't think I met anyone. If I had met another toy collector, I think we would have been friends, you know, to make that distinction.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like, hey man, weren't you on that show? Yeah, you know Mezco Toys. You know, ever heard of Mezco? And then they're like, and then you appeared from around the corner.
And then it works the other way around. Like I'm trying to explain what I do, and I'm like, yeah, so I like talk about toys on YouTube.
Right.
Okay.
I don't even try at work. I just say, yeah, I do YouTube stuff, but not like you think. That's exactly how I say all the time.
you add, but not like you think.
Right. I just do YouTube stuff, but not like you think. That's it. And that kind of already throws them off to walk away. Like, okay, thank you, bye. Yeah.
It really is tough to like rationalize this whole thing.
Yoko, what show would you want to be on if you could pick one? Star Wars realm.
Ahsoka?
Ahsoka. I knew that was coming. Ernie?
I wonder. Yeah. Book of Boba Fett right here, man.
The second book of Boba Fett?
Yeah, like
Boba Fett.
Yeah. Something, man.
Bobby Fettuccine, they call him.
Yeah, that's me.
Bring the mob thing back.
Yeah, I'm like the clone who didn't work out, so I'm like a distant cousin of him that he's always kept in touch with. You know, I'm not in shape like them. I didn't age like them. I've lost my hair, but like, yeah, I could be that. Who's that? Boba Fettuccine right there.
My goodness.
He runs all the east side of stuff.
I thought you were going to be the eye moistener for the Banthas.
Yeah, if I could be up there too with Danny Trejo and just like him yelling at me, I would take that too all day. All right,
just a spritz bottle, Fabio?
Yeah, it's just like a, you know, like an empty like Windex type bottle.
You never got to see Trejo, right?
No.
So we
no
don't
idea
know
he was even on this until I saw it.
We don't know if his famous female tattoo is now a Twi'lek. We don't know that. I'm really hoping for that. I hope that we get that in episode 4. That'd be great.
All I see is that the Spy Kids movies are now canon in Star Wars because Dio Machete is there.
Right. That's so awesome.
Fabster, before this, what show would you have wanted to be on? Or was this it for Star Wars?
Wanted to be on? I mean, if I could take it outside of Star Wars, I've really wanted to work on Always Sunny, and I know it's like filming, but I just haven't like gotten booked on it, you know. But I think this is Boba Fett specifically is probably the first show that I've like, not even first, but probably the biggest show that I've worked on that like I would actually watch outside of just trying to see myself in it. Like I would have watched this anyway. So to work on another show like that, yeah, anything that I'm currently watching would be like Always Sunny. I mean, if they do a season 2 of Peacemaker, that'd be dope to appear on. I don't know, just all the shows that I'm currently into.
So you didn't watch Perry Mason? That sucks. It was a great show.
It's like from the 40s or something. It's such an old show.
He's
Shout
in
out to the
40s.
hardcore Perry Mason gang.
But that's, I watched that one for myself, but then I ended up really liking it. It was a fantastic show.
Skyrider says, Kevin, what about you? Obi-Wan's my favorite character. There is an Obi-Wan show. So
that was starting as Boba Fett was finishing. They like eclipsed for like a week or two, and then we finished, and they took over the whole set.
That's awesome.
Or the whole studio, I guess.
Hid on the set somewhere and wait for it to
You
happen.
said took over the whole set. I'm running with that. I'm tweeting it now.
No, I misspoke.
So I know I'm
Freudian
just
slip.
totally kidding with you, Fabio. I would never do that to you. Right.
But,
Right here on the Book of Boba Tea exclusive.
I didn't see anything to going on with that production, but I would roll in every morning and I would see a very nice car parked at a spot, with certain initials, and I'd be like, "That's dope."
So, Fabster, how did this come about? I mean, like, so you're saying all these shows that you would love on. So when you're in this, you didn't know it was Book of Boba Fett. You were just
I knew it was Star Wars. I didn't know which Star Wars.
You knew that from the beginning, or because like you had an inside track?
No, because I went to the fitting. Like at the fitting, they put me in the outfits, and I'm like, oh, so this is the Star Wars.
So that's
right?
what I'm saying. Before you went there, you're trying to sign up for this. Like you knew, I'm trying out for a Star Wars gig.
Yeah, and I got an inkling when we did like they send you like the first emails, and there's like something in there that says Disney, like in the link somewhere, something very tiny that's like, okay, I see what this is.
They're just forwarding stuff, and they didn't.
I don't know, like whatever tiny URL they use, like. Yeah. There's like small things that hint at it, but it's not until you're like there that you're like, oh, okay, I see what this is.
Okay.
So yeah, to answer your question, I didn't really know until I was there,
Yeah, that's cool.
All right,
man. Yeah, it was just a crazy experience. I keep watching the show. It's I'm liking it so far. Can't wait to see how the plot goes for sure.
We are quite a bit of hours into it. I think that's the end of the episode. We got to cover some toys. Got to bring on a special friend and guest. And thank everyone for watching. I think it's a good time to wrap it up. Do we miss anything?
We did talk about the toe, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, I brought it up. Yoko didn't even know about it. I was like, how did you miss that?
No.
Right?
Because
Wasn't
I watched
that so
it at midnight.
weird?
Because I watched it at midnight. Okay. I missed some things at midnight.
I watched it at midnight too, and then I couldn't go to sleep because of the toe. I could close my eyes and I saw the toe. Like that was really weird.
I haven't watched this one a second time yet, so I'll keep an eye out for it for sure. And the testy jaws.
Yeah.
Ernie, go grab that domain now, chestyjawas.com.
Just have it blow up, huh?
Yeah. Go spot on that domain.
I do have more questions, Fabio, but we'll talk off air.
Oh yeah, dude, hit me up for sure.
So those Jawas, were they
terrible?
I'll say you're not the only one thinking about them.
That's horrible.
Dude, again, congratulations. Thanks for making time to come on. I know you just did your own the ACBA podcast and hopped on here. Where can people catch up with you, follow you, social media, see what kind of toys you're into collecting, stuff like that?
Well, thank you. Yeah, once again for having me and Ernie and Yoko. It's good to see you guys. Yeah, I mean, it's, as you said, I was just on the ACBA podcast. We literally finished like at your second hour, at your first hour or something. So just fresh on the Boog_ACBA YouTube channel. Go check that out. We did talk a little bit about Boba Fett, but mostly kind of the toy news going on. That's every week. I think we're kind of moving to Fridays, depends on scheduling, but most Fridays, 5 p.m. Eastern time, 8 p.m. Pacific. You can catch me on YouTube here as well on my own channel at Fobster, talking Mezco. Most weeks. Right now I'm on hiatus, working on some stuff behind the scenes. I'll be back with my season 2 of my live stream series where I cover Mezco weekly and other 112 soft goods things. And during that hiatus, producing a few videos. I got my top 10 of 2021 coming out, top 10 Mezco. A massive list. I'm still working on it literally as we speak. Finishing some stuff with the shooting. And then I'll be editing. And then collection video. I'll be doing a big collection video because, it's the end of the year. You got to catch people up on how the collection looks from the year before. So that's going to be happening pretty soon. Other than that, Instagram Fobster360. Check out my photos. That is, I'll probably be posting some more stuff for a 112-day contest to get some extra entries in. So check out my toy photography Instagram Fobster360. That's it. That's it for me.
Cool, man.
And keep watching Book of Boba Fett.
Yes. And I'm on this little show called The Book of Boba Fett. Don't forget to check it out, right?
If you need him to show up on any of your shows, you got to say Mezco 3 times. Real fast.
Well, I go by Candyman rules. It's 5 times.
You want 5 times? I'll make sure everybody knows that.
Well, that's why I missed sometimes the first half of the show is because
that's why you weren't there.
I'm there on the 5th time, and then from then on.
Got it.
Is it consecutive or cumulative?
No, yeah.
Like
throughout, within a reasonable interval.
Right.
That's weird.
All right.
That's weird.
It's like setting up Google alerts,
These are terrible rules. Yoko.
How the CM does it.
Yoko and the Midnight 30. Wait, does this Zordon light up? Sorry.
Yeah.
And the Midnight 30 crew.
Yep.
For everyone who's not a part of it, please let them know.
Yeah, if you watch Book of Boba Fett at midnight Pacific time when it drops on Tuesday nights, head over to Twitch. I'm Livin Vida Yoko over on Twitch, and we have an immediate reaction stream where we share all our immediate thoughts, and you can tell me what I've missed, like giant toes, weird toes, and chesty jawas. And then we usually talk for like an hour. It's really hop and stream, and then but I stream at regular hours during the day. During the evenings, Tuesdays and Wednesday nights as well at 7. No, what time do I stream? 8, 7:30? I don't know. It doesn't. I have no rules. Tuesday, Wednesday evenings, Pacific time, whenever I feel like it. But yeah, midnight 30 is where it's at. It's a good party.
Was that a dig at this because we're into hour 3?
No, once again, it was a dig at myself because I usually say I start at 7:30, but then I don't really ever start till like 8.
No, I mean midnight 30. You're like, we usually go for an hour. Kev,
no,
I know sometimes because last time when Enablers did 5 hours, and you're like, wait, I could have left.
I could have left.
So yeah, all right.
Yeah, no, it's good times in midnight.
Thank you for your commitment, Yoko.
Always.
The Fallen Fett.
Thanks for keeping me around, boss man Kev. I appreciate that Adam didn't get me fired last night. So Adam, you could suck it. We went 3 long, and who knows what podcast you're on right now, but I appreciate everybody who was here. We had like 500 viewers tonight because nobody was watching Adam. So I appreciate that. But if once you're done and you take a nap and you've already been with the Midnight 30 at 8 p.m. Pacific time, you can jump on and watch the Sarlacc Digest podcast as we break it down that Wednesday night with myself and the crew. And then Thursday nights on Toy Migos, They're Not Dolls, as we go over toy news and everything too. And I'll make sure, Fabio, everybody knows the rules now that it's 5 times so that we could spread the word and get you out there. And congratulations to you, man.
No cheating. All right. Okay. It has to be natural.
All right. You got it. And I'm so jealous, but yet I'm so happy for you at the same time. And that's cool, man. That's great.
Thank you.
And then if Kevin wants to keep me around here Friday nights when I can make it.
Performance review later.
Yeah, thank you.
You have my vote.
Well,
right.
Did you put a cover sheet on your TPS reports?
Right there at the Fallen Fett. You can find me on Instagram where everybody's just making fun of me. So that's all.
I trust you have a decent handshake.
We're going to have to see. I'm really scared now, but yeah. I'm going to work on it now.
Handshake
if I need any more social anxiety.
Yeah, exactly, right. Really need to work on that. Yeah. As soon as the next person that I can shake their hand with that I know without all this COVID crap and everything, I am going to ask them after, how was that? Like, can you review me?
How was it for you?
Was it
Oh
okay?
my god.
That's the great thing about a nice elbow touch. There's no way to botch it.
Right. Well, no, unless somebody's got like an ashy, just man, you need
Oh,
lotion.
actually, you know,
Right.
Yeah.
You need some lotion, or you're really bony and they hit yours. And now you're like,
Yeah.
ow, what was
no,
that?
that
funny
can
bone?
still go wrong for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it
I
goes
recant my
wrong.
statement.
See, you might have a strong elbow, Fabster, and you didn't know how many people you've been out there hurting right now. Just yeah.
I grew up in the the hardcore like Southern California punk scene, so maybe I've been throwing elbows like I'm still in a mosh pit. I don't know.
Yeah, you can't just keep going around and doing it. You just no, dude, you got to go in slow, nice and
You
easy.
telling me I haven't had to wait for the breakdown before to start throwing elbows? God.
Right. Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, I know.
We can't avoid the handshake thing. Thanks, Yoko. I'm sure there's guys who are just like, this is what women think about. Like my strong handshake.
They're drunk texting right now. Was it my handshake? And she's replying back, yes. God, Yoko was right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Don't
really sucks.
don't weaken up your handshakes for us, guys.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Don't
Double
do it.
down on that, Yoko. Double
Yeah.
down on it.
You heard it here.
Oh,
You've come
my
too far to be
goodness.
wrong now.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
own it. What's left? If you're still here, it's a wonder. Thank you for sticking around. I've had a lot of fun chatting with these three and Paul, of course, and interacting with everyone in the chat. Hope you can come back for next week. Make sure you subscribe, turn on the notifications so you don't miss this wonderful time. And between now and next week, while you're practicing your handshake, I'll be back Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern for Unboxing Thursdays. I'm going to open up some figures, chat with a friend, and it's nice and chill. And of course, next week, Friday, same time for the Book of Boba Tea. I appreciate everyone for watching. I hope you have a great weekend. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, Twitch. Enjoy, stay safe, and keep touring around. Peace.
Goodbye.
Enchanté.